Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
And they embody what the school is about. It's about getting into hard situations and getting ourselves out. It's about working hard. It's about doing amazing things.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Well. Richard Zane. Look who showed up. Finally. First day this entire week I've shown up for work in the morning.
Okay.
Well, that's not true. I showed up on Tuesday. But I was behind the scenes.
Well is my new bit that annoyed Bronny, I think, a little bit.
That's not annoying. I think that's funny. Well. That's 6 wells, Dwight.
It's
an
from The
Office
Office?
reference.
Okay, I thought it was The Office.
See, if you'd done that, Bronny would have been all about it because he thinks that's the greatest show ever created on television. It's good.
I like the
Huge fan. Greatest ever?
No, it's stupid to say that with Seinfeld in the same universe.
Sure.
Sorry.
Universe? Are they connected like
No,
MCU characters?
I mean in this world.
I would have loved a Michael Scott, Jerry Seinfeld, or Kramer crossover. That would have been amazing.
Can Larry David from Curb be there as well?
Oh, yes, please. Yeah. That's my Avengers.
Yeah, I could hang out with Larry David. I think we'd get along quite well. There's some things we're not on the same page with. But day one was yesterday.
Some of the things you were not on the same page
My
with
neck
Larry
hurts.
David.
It's a whole episode thing.
Okay.
Anyway, day one observations. You weren't there, but I was there.
I was not.
You were at day one soccer.
I was at exhibition soccer last night. The round football versus the oblong football, as the former soccer coach G. Guerrero used to say. Soccer was fine. Soccer was good. They were active. They beat Incarnate Word 3-0, but I know that's burying the lead, right? Because Mike Elko and the Aggies got back out on the grass yesterday, first day of fall camp, and looking through some of the photo galleries, watching sights and sounds, some of these dudes in maroon white and shells and helmets, huge. Like I saw Tamarian Watkins. That doesn't look like an 18-year-old kid. That's a freak.
He's going to be gigantic.
That's awesome. That's exciting. I think we can finally put to rest the old TexAgs joke of can he play linebacker? Yeah. Because that dude definitely looks like he play linebacker.
Well, so I tell the story, I think, every year here, but it gets even better. From my perspective, I think it gets better. So when I first got to TexAgs, I covered the Texans, obviously, before that, and the University of Houston. And I remember coming to my first A&M practice after covering the Cougs and Rice for a few years, thinking, God, these guys are so much bigger. But there was one guy in particular that stood out as an Adonis. His name was Michael Clemens.
Yes.
Right? He stood out like, okay, there's a bunch of SEC-looking dudes, but this guy's built different, right?
Yes.
And there were some other guys, but he was the one that stood out. Every year I feel like I say that, but then I add like 5 or 6 guys. Tamarian Watkins was one of them yesterday. Just looking at Mario Craver, he's not a physical specimen in the Michael Clemens mold, but compared to what he looked like before, what is he, 196 now, I think it is? He's much bigger, stronger. Ruben Owens, who did the interview yesterday, looks bigger and stronger. I think DJ Hicks looks more fit and still looks just as powerful as always. So do you have that number in front of you?
Who you were looking for, Craver?
Yeah, I think Mario Craver's like
Craver's listed at 180. So that's 15 pounds from last year, or I guess in the spring. And we've talked about the weight changes for a few days now since the schedule was posted, or the roster, was posted last week. And everybody you want to see add weight has, and all of the guys who you want to see tone or add more muscle and take some weight down has.
It's interesting to me because as an old man,
you're not that old.
What it takes to see just a minor change takes a year, 18 months, 2 years. I just saw these guys in the spring. And in the spring, their bodies had changed from January. So from January to April, their bodies changed. Their bodies have changed from April to now. Like, I've got to get on that program. I got to get on the Moffitt method.
Yes, and you would be an absolute nerd if you were on, more so than you already are.
Yeah, I'm already.
I mean that with love. That's a compliment, nerd. I don't think that's a bad. I don't think nerd should be derogatory anymore. You can nerd out about certain things. You nerd out about fitness.
Superheroes.
So if you were on the Moffitt method, think about how much higher your nerddom would, with the trajectory that would be on. It'd be through the roof.
Well, I'm nerding out on how these guys look. And one of the things that, look, first day of practice is oftentimes can be like the first day of school.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, it's great to see everybody. Oh, who's your teacher? Who's your class? Oh, I'm going to walk with you. The vibe I got from football practice, and of course football is a different animal than first day of school in elementary, was they're there to work. Like there was not the coaches were intense. The players were focused. There was no chit-chat between drills. It was like from drill to drill to drill to work to work to work.
I'd be interested to see or to hear what Coach Elko's thoughts on their first practice were, because I know that he's not going to be satisfied. And if it were a good practice, it needs to be a great practice. And if it's a great practice, it needs to be a perfect practice. So when you got to speak to DJ Hicks and Reuben Owens last night post-practice, one of the things that stuck out to me was the defensive lineman said it was an okay day.
Yeah.
It was an okay day. So they expect more out of each other. And that's a good sign, especially coming off an 11-2 season. You want more.
I'm watching these.
You want a longer stay in the playoff this year.
I'm watching this route running. It is pretty crisp. And Aaron Gregory, I mean, he stands out already. Like, that guy stands out. The guys you expect to look good are going to look good. ABR to Mario, the whole crew, right? They all, but
Isaiah Horton
for sure.
I mean, everyone describes him as a linebacker running routes and catching passes. That's exciting to me.
But just seeing how direct they are, how crisp it looks, to me, it was a very good first day. I'm kind of like DJ Hicks. I look like him? No. I'm like him in the fact that I thought it was a good first day, but I know this is a building block. This is the foundation for the pyramid that they're building.
Yeah, you got to get through the first week of not having pads on, then you got to start hitting each other and start going from there. And it's exciting. That's the point, right? Like you said, the first day of school is always exciting. Might not be the biggest day as far as curriculum and classroom learning, but it's setting the stage for what's to come. And what's to come is, less than a month away now.
Yep.
It's 30 days until September the 5th against Missouri State. That's what we're building towards.
So let's hear from the players. Yesterday, DJ Hicks was the first person to come into the press conference room, and he was drenched. I even told him, dude, he came directly from the field. It was like, that was the kind of practice that they were having. Anyway, he talked about first day jitters, which is a good thing because when it's time to go, it's time to go.
It's definitely jitters, coming into something that you really care about, you're always going to be a little nervous, So I feel like it was a little bit of jitters, a little bit of everything. But the first play, once you get that first play done, it just turns into playing football again. So.
Was there a point during today where those nervous jitters started to kind of dissipate a little bit?
Oh, yeah. The first play. That's from every time for me, I get real nervous. I'm a real nervous type of guy. But after the first play, I get the first little pads hit, I'm good.
All right, DJ Hicks yesterday. First day jitters is normal, but once he lays his pads on somebody, it's time to go.
Just got to lock back in. It's that muscle memory that you've kind of put on the back burner for a while. You just got to wake it back up, and then you remember where your feet are and who you are and what you're here to do, and that's to hit people. That's what DJ Hicks is at Texas A&M to do.
It was either yesterday or the day before. I spent some time on what I think for Marcel to have a big year, another big year, but to build on what he did last year. I think the running game is going to have to be a catalyst, right?
Yes.
Catalyst, Pure Performance Energy text line, 979-693-1150.
Nicely done.
Thank you. But I believe the running game is going to have to be a catalyst. The catalyst of the group, the vet in that room is Reuben Owens. And I thought yesterday Reuben was really good talking about looking in the mirror at things that he needs to get better about. And so he was asked yesterday about some moments that he learned from. And one of the moments he learned from, I think we all remember, was a very integral part of the Texas game. And then afterwards, I'm going to run a bite from him talking how he's going to fix some of these issues. So here's Reuben Owens on moments that he learned from in 2025.
I'll say Texas game. We ran wide zone play. It was 3rd and 2. I got the first down, but I made a move, made the corner miss. Supposed to get out. I started stumbling. That was one of them. And then Mizzou game, when I broke that first time, I shouldn't let that safety tackle me right there. It should be a touchdown.
So he, kind of like Marcel, when he was asked about moments that Marcel remembered at SEC Media Days, he remembered plays that went south. He remembered the last play against Miami. Ruben Owens over here is thinking, like, that Texas game, I had an opportunity to score, right? Not only get the first down, but score. The Missouri game, I had an opportunity to score, but I didn't. And he tripped in the Texas game. Now, it was followed up on, what do you have to do to fix that? And he actually had a really good answer for this as well.
Picking my legs up, picking my knees up, coming through there, it's a lot going on when you're coming through the hole. Picking my feet up, I be tripping on people's feet, all that. I just gotta pick my feet up and keep my eyes up too. That's really what goes into it. And then I got balance, it's just my head down. So if your head down, you gonna go down. And I just gotta keep my head up. So.
And how hard of an exercise is it to go back and watch all of those runs? Is it painful? Is it what's the emotions when you go and see some of those? What's going through your head?
Yeah, when I go back and see the runs, I ain't gonna lie, I be thinking about that all the time. I'm ready to play again and show that I can make those plays. It's hard looking at them, but you gotta go through it. You gotta critique yourself. You gotta take self-criticism too. You can't just try to blame it on something else. You gotta that's me. Yeah, I should make those plays. And I'm gonna make those plays this year.
I love that. I love that mentality, right? Because that's a good player. That's a very good football player. He's a former 5-star. A lot of people, and I didn't realize this until somebody pointed it out to me a couple weeks ago, he was A&M's leading rusher last year. We think about Le'Veon Moss because of how productive he was when he was on the field, but because he was injured, he didn't have the total stats that Ruben did. You can celebrate the good and the great plays and all of that. Marcel's the same way. He was a Heisman Trophy candidate up until the final game of the regular season. Celebrate the good, but don't constantly live in this I'm awesome world. Go back and look at where your miscues were. Don't necessarily dwell on it, but learn from them. That's how you get better. So I love that mentality. That's a mature approach to the game from now the vet in that running back room, as you were saying, because behind Ruben Owens, what do you have? A couple sophomores and a couple really talented true freshmen. He's got to be that guy that helps bring everybody else along and start passing down what is a really talented running back tradition here at Texas A&M.
Yeah, and I'll say this too. I think we all have blind spots, right? Football players have some spots that they don't see. And how do you fix a blind spot? You turn and look, right? And he's identifying what he has to do differently. So that won't be, hopefully, when you address it and you know what you have to do differently, won't be an issue in 2026.
I love it. I love that approach. I'm hoping for a very big year from him.
Yep.
Great kid, been here for a long time, had some injury adversity, was not the guy, but now he's the guy. Hopefully he can take that torch and carry it. And I would say run with it.
He wants to be a 1,000-yard rusher. It's been a minute since we've seen that.
If Ruben Owens is a 1,000-yard rusher, what does that mean for the Texas A&M offense? Because what does that mean for Marcel Reed, who he can run, right?
Yeah.
He's not a running quarterback, but he can run, and they're planning to let him use his feet a little bit more. At least that's what it sounds like. But Ruben talked about it. Marcel can throw.
Right.
So if you're worried about the running game, what's that going to open up for Marcel to these talented receivers? You talk about Craver, you talk about Horton, ABR, AG, Aaron Gregory. That's exciting. If he's a 1,000-yard rusher,
as long as they winning, I don't care what the numbers are, right? So you give me 1,000 yards. If Marcel's numbers have to dip a little bit because you're running the ball more, but you have a nice lead, I'm good with that.
Stats are stats. The only one that matters is the one in the win column.
Yeah. Let's tell the people the name of the show. It's TexAgs Live.
Brought to you by David Carter's Jewelers.
In the Rollo Insurance Studio, but we call this hour the what?
This is the Go Hour, brought to you by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Maroon never looks so good.
Like Maroon U. And over there, we call that area the Holistic Planning Cool Zone. But we're hanging out right here at the desk right now. If you want to be a part of the conversation, you can call us up on the Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. That number is 979-693-1150. But I already told you about the Catalyst Pure Performance Energy text line. That number is also...
Same number, 979-693-1150.
It's like a young Olin Buchanan here.
Well, I've been listening to the show a long, long time. I've heard you say those digits in that order many a time.
Many, many times. All right, let's go around the room. We go left to right. We go behind the glass. We say hi to the Nick Savage. Nick, good morning.
Howdy, good morning, y'all. Sorry, jumped the gun there. False start, 5-yard penalty.
What'd you do?
I said howdy before you finished talking.
Did you?
That's my problem. That's my fault.
I think you got back along it wasn't offsides. You got back in time.
Okay.
And it wasn't, you weren't
No free
unabated
play?
to the quarterback, so it was none of that. Yeah, we didn't blow it.
I didn't notice
no
it.
free play. I thought you were back on side.
Okay, sweet. Well, hey, I know how we feel about the ESPN, FPI, all that good stuff. Obviously, recently came out. They also released the strength of schedule, and this is according to the ESPN, FPI. All 16 SEC teams in the top 20. Georgia, actually, the easiest schedule according to them. A&M with the 9th toughest schedule in the country. Poor old Arkansas, number 1. They're going to have a gauntlet. Texas, like you've been saying a lot, David, their schedule this year, a little bit tougher. But, yeah, you got some Big Ten splashed in there. I don't see any Big 12 upon first glance. But, yeah, SEC, going to be a tough conference to get through.
We knew that, right? It's a 9-game conference schedule. It's just interesting to see how much this particular metric is weighing SEC games. What we need to know, and what nobody knows just yet, is how the CFP committee is going to weigh strength of schedule. What is their strength of schedule metric? How are they calculating it? Because I think everybody in this room and listening to this program might agree that a nine-game conference schedule in this league is different than 9-game schedules in other leagues.
It is. I think it's also interesting how different perspectives change what they think strength of schedule is. So USA Today came out with the college football toughest schedules based on 2026 preseason rankings. Okay. A&M is not in their top 10.
That's shocking.
But 6 of their opponents are in their top 10, and I'll go through it in order. Number 2, hardest schedule, Texas. Number 3, Missouri. Number 5, Arkansas. Number 6, Oklahoma. Number 9, South Carolina. Number 10, LSU. I've got to imagine under this, whatever metric they use there, A&M's got to be like 11 or 12. Got to be.
Texas, that makes sense, right? They have to play Ohio State in that non-conference series, the second of the home and home. They go to Tennessee. They go to LSU. They come to Kyle Field. Those aren't easy places to win, right? You're going to be, you're going to be the minority in a packed 1,000-seat stadium, whether it be in Knoxville or Baton Rouge or right here in Aggie land. So I understand that. Poor old Arkansas, they're going to have a tough schedule because
everybody's better than them.
Everything is better. Yes, you're right. And then, it's the nature of this league.
Yeah.
Right? Nature of this league. You're going to have a tough slate, regardless if you're Arkansas or A&M or any one of the 16 teams in this league. 9 games in the SEC is a different animal. I'm not saying anything different than has been said on the Go Hour before.
It is a different animal, but doesn't matter.
It's life.
Those
are the games you're dealt, so you got to go out and play them.
Yep. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Carson Stein, day 2 of the week, right? Your second time this week?
Yes, because I did Tuesday too. Last minute call in from the bullpen.
That's right, the bullpen call in. What do you got for us this morning?
So I found this that the Sporting News magazine is celebrating their 140th year of publishing, and they released their All-American All-Decade teams. 2 Aggies made the list, in 2010s being Myles Garrett and the 1970s being Tony Franklin.
Time out. In the 2010s, they did not have Johnny Manziel.
No,
he won a Heisman and was a Heisman finalist the second time.
This is where I wanted to go next.
That's insane.
Are there any besides Johnny, obviously, that you just brought up?
How did they phrase phrase it again?
All-decade, all-American teams.
And Johnny Manziel didn't make it.
The only 2 Aggies are Myles Garrett in the 2010s and Tony Franklin in the 1970s.
Kicker.
Are there any other Aggies?
I mean,
I'll say from the 90s on, because
from the 90s.
Because I'll be honest, I don't know anything about the 80s.
And that's an obvious one.
Pick a running back. Like, I don't care who you pick. Rodney Thomas,
Von
Greg
Miller,
Hill, Leland McElroy.
Von Miller for sure.
Von Miller. Like, this is who did this?
The Sporting News magazine.
They're not news. They're sporting hot takes.
Fake news?
No offensive lineman from the early 2010s is shocking. They had unanimous All-Americans up front. That's crazy.
You know what? I'm out on the Sporting News.
But at the same time, I haven't seen the full
list.
list.
Bill Bender write this?
I need to go back and see.
I have
who they have.
Bill Bender's my guy. I love Bill. There's no way he would have written this.
Let me do
If he did, I'm going to feel really bad.
2 is nuts. Who's the quarterback in the 2010s? Tell me who the quarterback is in the Twin Tits.
Come back to me later. I'll get you that.
Oh, God, what a disaster.
I got to know that. Because Johnny Manziel is the obvious oversight.
It's just
2 years in college. He won the Heisman as the first freshman, redshirt freshman in 2012, and then was a Heisman finalist again in 2013, and probably could have won it if his defense wasn't so awful.
Yeah. Okay, I'm done with that. That's
Or he didn't get hurt. They call that horse collar.
So, Richard, you were in here. I offered to take somebody who works here at this company to an important lunch today.
Yeah,
I didn't tell him where, but I offered. He's like, nah, I'm too busy.
Are you going there?
Well, I'm going to highly suggest it. I'm going to let the guest decide.
Fair.
But if he says, yeah, hey, David, you pick, I'm picking 1775.
You should.
Right?
As you should. That's
Carnivore
a great
diet,
lunch spot.
Right? Like, all right. And you know what? We'll also get the queso mac and cheese. But somebody in here's too busy, probably being a husband or doing honey to-do list or editing videos.
He takes care of his dogs during lunch. I know exactly what he's doing. He's doing stuff around the house. Very, very productive man during his lunch break.
I'm going to be real honest. I turned down every lunch people asked me to go to.
Yes, you do.
I fake an injury, so I would do the same thing.
It's because you're eating 1775 by yourself.
Exactly.
Because you don't want to pay for the rest of us.
I am not talking about Nick, people. Stop saying that. I did say editing, but it's not Nick who turned me down. 1775 is the place to go to get great food. The phone number is 979-492-6241 or visit the website 1775txbbq.com.
It's good.
Everybody, David Nuno here of TexAgs here with part of the team from Frog Slayer. We've got Tim Scott, the head of product strategy and design, and Tori Maddox, the senior marketing manager. All right, Tim, who is Frog Slayer? What do you all do?
So Frog Slayer is a custom software and AI and automation shop. We've been helping folks in the Bryan and College Station area for years with their custom software. But more and more recently, we've been getting questions from businesses asking about how AI can help them.
And Tori, I bet there's a lot of businesses with questions about that.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That's why we're actually putting together this event series called Table Stakes. It's a peer-to-peer roundtable discussion that allows business owners to come together and have open and honest conversations about AI, automation, and how it's impacting their businesses.
Tim, what do these events look like?
So imagine you and 8 other owners gathered around a table talking about what ate your week, what didn't go well, what went great, trying to figure out how AI fits into it, maybe seeing some real examples of some tools, and then afterwards grabbing a few drinks.
I like the way that sounds. All right, Tori, how does someone sign up?
Yeah, you can sign up or request a seat by going to frogslayer.com/roundtable. There you'll see a list of upcoming events and you can request to join us.
Tim and Tori, thank you very much. Go check out Frog Slayer, guys. I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. Zero sugar, I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going? You use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper, pure results. It's Catalyst. We're back here on TexAgs Live. It is the Go Hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Time for 25 and 25 presented by Paragon Financial Advisors, an Aggie-owned independent fee-only fiduciary serving families and business owners nationwide. Visit paragon-adv.com. And number 17 on your list is Tafiq Bayard.
A safety, part of that secondary that Mike Elko described as the best he has coached during his time at Texas A&M, dating back to when he was a defensive coordinator here under Jimbo Fisher. What I love about Tafiq Bayard is the bloodlines, right?
Yep.
And I don't want to make this about his brother, right? We're talking about Tafiq, but anytime you have an older brother, Kevin Bayard III, who's a three-time first-team All-Pro, imagine what is being passed down from big bro to little bro and the lessons he's learning from his brother. Tafiq Bayard's a guy who is taking a natural progression, right? He was a 3-star recruit out of high school, goes to South Florida, spends 2 years there, has a standout season as a redshirt freshman, then he transfers to the Big 12, where he gets to learn from another amazing defensive back.
Yep.
I know Deion Sanders, a corner, Tafiq, a safety, but imagine the lessons you're learning in that secondary room under Coach Prime. And then he leads Colorado in tackles last year. So now he's testing himself again, taking another jump, the natural progression to the SEC. I think he brings a nice brand of physicality to the secondary room and the safety position in particular. And keep in mind, this is a guy who's going to factor in on a rotational basis to start out with, because you've got 2 team captains back there, Marcus Ratcliffe and Dalton Brooks. So I think his addition adds much needed depth, much needed physicality, and it's another reason why Elko's very confident in his secondaries. We've seen him say time and time again that this is the best unit back there he's coached since he's arrived in Aggieland.
So when I was preparing for this, I was looking back at some of the articles written about him when he went into the portal, and all the teams wanted him. Like, this is a guy that all teams wanted. And you think, all right, we've got Ratcliffe, we've got Dalton Brooks, we've got Bryce, we got so many dudes back there. Is he going to play? Yes, the answer is absolutely. The question becomes, how many different ways can Mike Elko deploy him? Like, how can they use him in different ways? Because this guy is not a depth piece. No. He is a guy who is brought in to compete to start, but if he doesn't start, it's because he's going to play in different ways. He's going to be a factor this year.
It's one of the things Coach Elko was talking about on Tuesday when he spoke to the media. Is like, you can't truly name starters up front on either the offensive line or defensive line. You don't truly know who the starters are going to be at linebacker or at cornerback or, same thing at safety, right? There is competition across the board. Tafiq Bayard's a huge part of that at the safety spot. And the cliche is iron sharpens iron. The fact that he's pushing to start can only make Dalton Brooks, who's a senior in his 3rd year as a starter, and Marcus Ratcliffe that much better. And that's exciting. That's got to be exciting.
He plays downhill. He plays physical. He can stop the run. Obviously, he led Colorado with tackles. He can cover by the line of scrimmage, or he can play, a little far back. He can play the nickel. He can play the safety. He can be like a hybrid linebacker-looking dude. Like, he can do a lot of things, and he brings a lot of experience. And I think he fits what Coach Elko likes from a player perspective. Without watching the film, he grew at South Florida. He grew at Colorado, and Elko and the staff see something in him, and they're going to deploy him in that way.
Hopefully he doesn't lead A&M in tackles this year, because I know what it means when safety leads your team in tackles, right? So however Elko and company want to deploy him, it's a versatile piece for them to deploy, and hopefully, because it's the secondary, hopefully Tafiq Bayard moving him around like a chess piece can help them force more turnovers, because that's an area we know they were deficient a year ago.
Well, we always talk about like how the linebackers misfits, but the safety plays a big role in that too. So how does he shoot the gaps? How, being a very good tackler, how does he do in that kind of situation? How does he slip through traffic? Can he close off the speed quickly? I think these are all things that he brings to Texas A&M, and how smart is he at taking angles from the clips I've watched about him. He just seems to know how to get to the football.
And don't forget, I trust Mike Elko's portal evaluations, right? Any position, especially at a position that he played back in college at Penn.
Yeah.
So I trust Mike Elko here, big time.
All right, when we come back, Stephen McGee going to join us here in studio. He is actually here. I see him there in the office. Right now we're talking about Heritage Films. They do documentary films about everything, right? But mostly about family. So when we talk about your family, does your family have a family business? Do they have a family ranch? Do you guys have like these get-togethers that you do? Do you have something special you do for holidays that's kind of unique to your family? Let Chance and his team be an eye in the sky and tell your family story and get a 2-hour documentary out of it. And I'm telling you, you're going to love it. When you watch it together with your family after it's done, you're going to be like, man, that was really worth it. And then when you watch it 10 years later, 20 years later, when you're not even here and your grandkids and their grandkids get to watch it, all about how this family, whatever it may be, started, right? And that's what Chance does such a good job. He does it with this high level of craftsmanship. You're going to love it. The website, yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com. Call them up, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341. It is Heritage Films. And we're back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number one of the program is the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. It is now time for Stephen McGee here in studio, brought to you by Paragon Financial Advisors, helping you call the right place for your financial future. He's our QB1 and your financial QB there at Paragon Financial. Mr. McGee, how are you, sir?
Fantastic. It's great to see my dudes again.
Yeah, man.
On set.
You've been at Zoom for a little bit?
Yeah, I've been Zooming. Olin's in Scottsdale.
Yeah, see those
with Quinn.
pictures of Olin at the Grand Canyon?
I did not, but I would love to see them.
It was a great sight, and the Grand Canyon.
Well said. Yeah, every time Olin's not here, I always wonder, like, what is Olin doing right now?
That makes me feel.
Do you think he's listening right now? He's going to send a text?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. No?
Absolutely not.
There's 0% chance.
No.
He listens to the show. He's a listener.
I think
he's
does
sitting by
too, but I don't
oceanfront
think
property
he's-
in Arizona right now.
Exactly. I made that comment to him before he left, and he liked it. I got a laugh.
You got
I
a
know a
little smile?
joke's good when I get a wry smile out of Olin.
Yeah. He's, I think Quinn is taking him to the local taverns in Scottsdale, Arizona right now. Let's be honest.
So it would be 7:30 a.m. in Scottsdale?
Are they
on Pacific time?
They're Mountain Time, right?
We just did this the other day on the show. They're West Coast time.
Oh, so yeah. Olin at
Pacific
the bar
time.
at 6:30. Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So we got PKO Olin in Arizona, you think? Have you heard of the story?
I got to show you some videos
Can't
after
wait.
when we get
Oh
off
my
air.
gosh, no! Let's get these on air
We
for
can't.
TexAgs.
Can't do
This is
that.
what the people need and want.
We can't.
By
do
the
that.
way, we have got to create a challenge for Olin Buchanan this fall. I don't know what that looks like. We've got to get our creative caps on.
You had a pretty good idea, I thought, last week, didn't you? Or am I making that up? I feel like we talked about one that made sense. Not the physical challenge that included alcohol and hot dogs. That one would probably kill him.
Yeah, that way the tattoo on the skull probably not great.
Yeah, I don't think his
I mean,
wife liked that.
what's the idea? Maybe like we send Olin to Northgate. He has to do like I don't know, 11:30 to 2 a.m. whenever they close bars.
Bouncer.
And he's just documenting and videoing himself on a cell phone, going up to the bars and drinking and having conversations amongst the nightlife. Like, don't you think that'd be funny?
I think it'd be a good piece of content.
I think it'd be great to have Olin as the guy who checks
We could turn it
IDs
around.
as you're trying to get
The
in.
bouncer.
Exactly. Yes. Like
Mic
everyone's
him up
coming in.
and film. It's like what the stuff he's saying to the kids.
Yeah, I think ABC may have a problem with that, but anyway.
Man, yeah, something along these lines. Like,
We
how
could
do
get him certified. It can't be that difficult. And here's the thing: Olin will follow through. Just like Nuno with the cake, he'll follow through on the challenge. I'm still waiting on Evangelist Bahama Luke to get his fryer cut. Hasn't done it yet.
Oh, he totally lied.
Hasn't done that yet.
You know about that?
No.
How did
I
he
thought
cut?
you bet it.
No,
I
it was
thought
the fan show.
I thought so. Yeah, the fan show
He's
was
gonna
going
get
to pay him.
he's gonna get a fryer.
No, they paid
fryer
him.
cut.
Matt Browning paid him, I don't know, $100 or whatever it was to get a fryer cut. And Luke, I forget what though. Nick, do you remember why they did the bet? Whatever it was, Luke said he would do it. Didn't get the fryer cut, and then just kept the money.
Oh no.
I think Matt Browning was like, just keep it. Like, it's okay.
No. Look, I know Matt Browning in the roofing business. It'd be great advertising for him, actually. You get a fryer cut, and you just, you put your shingles on top of the fryer.
You could even like temporary tattoo of the Browning logo on top of his bald head.
It'd be beautiful. Look, let's make this happen.
Well, Luke's out.
If he needs tips on a fryer cut, I'm the guy to talk to. I got that mastered. I can figure that one out. I love a good fryer cut. I remember we were at training camp, and this was, I think, 2009 with Cowboys, maybe 10. And we would do these, rookie hazing cuts before the league kind of really shut it down. And I think it was because of our time in Dallas.
Okay.
Because it made the headlines when the guys came out for stretch, everyone takes off their helmet. But my three favorite was we had an offensive lineman that got the fryer, which you guys can Google this. And then a guy had one that was just spots, like a leopard.
Yeah.
All around. And so you could, basically, they would just do whatever the heck they always wanted to do or see, but it was free. And then these guys would have to take the hats off, and it was always pure comedy. And so they came to me, and I'll never forget, I was freaked out. I was like, cannot shave my head. I'm like, quarterback. I was like, you have to look the part.
Right.
I can't do this, whatever. And they ragged on me for months about that reply. They did spare me, but I remember I was very anxious in the hallway. I would hide and get
just
in
in
and
case.
out.
Yeah.
When I heard the Clippers coming down the hallway. It's funny, come full circle, and that's just the life I live now, right? I do have a permanent fryer cut. It's not that big of a deal. Like, who
God's
cares?
got a sense of humor, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Hey, so yesterday was first day of practice. First few days, what's happening, right? Like, I mean, you're not game planning, obviously, but what is a team, a staff trying to accomplish in, let's say, days 1 through 3?
Yeah, I think they're doing installs, right? I mean, that's pretty much every coach I'd work with. They have, day 1 install. It's going to be the very basics of the playbook. And then day 2, you just start building on this and you install the playbook the same way you would through spring practice, right? You get whatever it is, 14, 15 practices, including the spring game, whatever that number is. And so you have 10 install days. And then your first 10 days of camp generally mirror that exact. And so you're going through the same stuff. You're getting the same reps. And so the only newness here is going to be the guys that weren't here during the spring that are the freshman signees. But I guarantee you they're doing the same basic installs, going through the playbook. And then you start just building on it every week. Formation, shifts, third down, blitz pressure, all that stuff. But every year, no matter if you're a first-year guy or a fifth-year guy, coaches hammer on the basics and the fundamentals of football, right? You build from the foundation up, and this is the setting of the foundation.
So one of the things that always stands out on the first day of camp is these photos of the guys and how physical they look after an offseason in the weight room with Tommy Moffitt. And in our photo gallery last night, there's a picture of a freshman linebacker, and a subscriber described him as an alien. So my question for you, Stephen, is when you were 18 years old, what was the physicality? How did they describe your physique? An alien?
I wish I had that problem. It was like the Myles Garrett phenom. He's like, I remember Kevin Matthews laughing. He was our center. His brother Jake was locker right next to Myles Garrett, and Myles would get out of the shower, and he's like, what the heck is that muscle? And they didn't even know that was a human muscle over here on the side. It was like a side abdominal trapezoid muscle. I mean, these are just freaks.
I don't have those.
Yeah, they get off. What was the guy? Michael Clemens. He's like the guy.
Oh, yeah. We talked about him earlier.
Yeah, it's like the guy that you want off the bus first, right? It's like the Cyclops. And some dudes just genetically just got it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was not me. Was that you? That is kind of you,
never
right?
me. I'm a tryhard. No.
You're a tryhard guy?
Yeah,
hustle and muscle in the paint?
Yeah.
Is that you?
Absolutely not. I don't try hard at all. Yeah. I'm very lazy. Nunya knows this, especially when it comes to the fitness.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
He's been trying to get me in the gym since he arrived at TexAgs. How long ago? 7 years ago?
Yeah.
6 years ago? Yeah. Haven't done it yet.
What you lack in muscle, though, you gain in hair. I think you have.
I do have hair.
Quite the hair gene.
I do have a good.
Which is a good thing.
For now.
It's a great thing.
For now. I'm not in my 30s yet, so we'll see. I don't knock on wood. Hope it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, but look, looking is one thing. What's the old saying? Look like Tarzan, play like Jane, right? This is a game of honestly speed, right? I mean, like speed kills, not muscle. Anybody can put on muscle, put on weight, whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm always shocked at guys that don't necessarily look amazing. They don't run the fastest time, but they just make plays.
Right.
They're just dang good football players. How about Michael Hodges? You remember this guy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that was never a guy that got off the bus and you're like, man, look at him, right? But when you turn on the tape, you said, look at this guy, right? And that's ultimately what you're looking for. And I think Mike Elko does a great job of pulling that out of guys. Torrey and York. I mean, there's guys that, you want guys that look the part and, have all the physical skill sets, but it's more of an attitude thing. And you find out a lot about your team and you build them in these, it's hot here, right? It's humid. It's tough. Training camp sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing good about, like from a player's perspective, you dreaded going through training camp, but yet you knew and you form the bond with your teammates and you find out who is going to be the guys you can depend on. And it's not day 1, it's not day 2, it's day 3. It's like day 10. Everyone's sore, tired, and cranky. And you find out what kind of team you got.
Stephen, I think a couple things. So like Mateer, he has this look like he's spent all summer in the gym and he's got jacked. And that's great. I think that speaks to like discipline, and that can carry over to football. It doesn't necessarily carry over to football, right? Like, can you sling it? Can you do X, Y, and Z? And I think that speaks to what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And look, that I was guilty of that guy. I was always, my dad used to always compete and be like, well, when I was your age, I could bench press this amount, and then I'd try to go in there and bench press. And so I grew up in the weight room. I was a coach's kid, and so I always had, I remember when I got to Dallas with Romo and Kidna, they made fun of me. Romo's the complete opposite of that. Like, he never spent time in a weight room. If you took his shirt off, you'd laugh. Like, who is this dad in here, right? Yet, when the lights came on, he was an incredible athlete, and he was really good at what he had to do. Lifting weights and being strong and bulky does not translate to greatness at the quarterback position. I think that there is a level of fitness that does matter, right, to protect your body. Guys like Drew Brees and Tom Brady, I think, got really good at that. But it's not doing curls either, right? It's, power cleans and squats and, flexibility of rotator cuff stuff. And so, it's so unique to the position group, and muscles don't win football games, right? For a quarterback, you win football games between the years and basically how you can make split decisions under pressure, right? It's the ability to process football and then make accurate throws.
But you want your defensive end, though, to be kind of look like Michael Clemens, right?
I would say that defensive end position is not 90% between the years. I would say it's 90%
attitude
from your
and
toes to your head.
Yeah.
You want long arms. You want bend. You want guys that got burst off the line of scrimmage. And so, I mean, it's unique to every position, certainly, but they know that. I mean, that's why they recruit, and that's why guys look the way they do. I mean, they know what they want.
What about wide receivers today? Because, Craver's put on some muscle. As long as you keep that speed, bigger, faster, stronger is definitely going to help you shed guys off, explosiveness, all that.
Yeah, I mean, look, football's physical. For a wide receiver, there's no doubt the most important skill set is speed. And your ability, quickness too, not just straight ahead speed, but your ability to get in and out of cuts and separate, right? So think of a guy like Peter Warrick. Not great straight ahead speed, or Jerry Rice, not great straight ahead speed, but really good at understanding, routes and how to use leverage to get open on guys in different coverages. And so there's that part of it. But then your ability to put your foot in the ground and get out of a cut, right? That creates separation. But when you talk about strength, where it comes into play is the use of hands at the line of scrimmage. In the SEC, what did a lot of teams do? Play press man-to-man coverage. You know that, right? As a baseball guy, because that's what they do in baseball.
Press
right?
man coverage, that's a big thing.
It's like when you bunt and everyone comes up,
right?
And the windows get tight. That's what it is. You got to be able to get off press man-to-man coverage, and that's hands and that's strength. That's that physicality, or go up and make a contested catch in the end zone, right? And then, of course, as a receiver, you got to be able to block, too. That's where explosive plays happen in the run game. Guys making unselfish plays downfield for their teammates. So, yeah, strength matters. So don't let me diminish that, the fact that, but ultimately, this is a game of speed. It's so, you can't really coach speed, right?
Got it or you don't. I have none of it.
Yeah, neither do I, buddy.
That's not true. I saw you run the ball a lot against Nebraska.
Oh, God, here we go. I knew it was coming out.
We'll hit a break. We'll come back. A little buy-sell hold on the other side. Right now, we're talking about Rollo Insurance. They build lasting relationships through education. They help you understand what you're buying and the why behind it. They have expertise in everything from home to auto to business to ranch insurance. And their independent agents provide you options tailored to your specific needs. They take time to explain it in plain language so you understand exactly what you're having. You're never left wondering about your coverage. Their educational approach empowers you to make informed decisions. Many clients discover better protective and competitive rates simply because they finally understand their options. Experience the difference at one of their 60-plus offices in the great state of Texas, and of course, their headquarters right here on Highway 6 in College Station. Visit RolloInsurance.com/TexAgs, RolloInsurance.com/TexAgs, or call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. It's Rollo Insurance. Hey guys, David Nuno here to talk about our new partners with EventPipe. They are a leader in hotel booking technology, and now they're giving you a chance to support Aggie student athletes every time that you travel. Thanks to their partnership with United and EventPipe, whether you're heading into a game, a business trip, or family vacation, every room that you book comes with cash back in the pockets of Aggie athletes. That's a wonderful deal. And with EventPipe, you'll get discounted hotel rates up to 20% lower than the major travel sites while enjoying a fast, easy booking process. They've even created Presto, EventPipe's quick launch booking solution. It lets organizations build branded hotel sites powered by live hotel inventory, making it simple to book the perfect stay. So next time you want to book a trip, do it the smart way with EventPipe and support Texas Aggies NIL through United. Visit their website, tau.eventpipe.com. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Time for Buy, Sell, Hold, brought to you by Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. If you want financial guidance that truly puts you first, visit paragon-adv.com. All right, so.
I like the polo. Way to go. You matched the read and the sponsor. Well done.
I wonder why that is.
I know.
It's a quality shirt, by the way.
How many languages can you speak?
1.
How about you?
2.
Which are?
Spanish and English.
I met a guy the other day that spoke both, obviously, English, Spanish, and then Sudanese. And I had never in my life heard of somebody that could speak those three.
Interesting.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Sudanese is Farsi or Sudanese?
Sudanese.
There's a joke here.
Sudanese. That is correct. He spoke Sudanese.
Yeah, you got me again.
Both
God
of them.
dog it.
Both of them. Love that for us. It's a great day to be alive, isn't it?
Have you seen the new Nolan film?
Sure have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you?
I have not seen the new Nolan film, no.
Yeah.
No.
Have
Good
you?
one?
No? You know
Nope.
you know the name?
Good guy.
Yeah.
Great friend. Right? Yeah. Tell me about him.
Well,
Tell me about him.
He's Odysseus. The movie's called The Odyssey. The Odyssey, and he's nuts.
Yeah. Yes. He's a good friend of Bofa.
Yeah.
Bofa's a good guy, too.
Oh, the best.
Olin loves Bofa.
Yeah.
Olin loves
nails.
Olin loves Coach Vanel.
Yeah. Are you buying, selling, or leasing? Coach Vanel or Bofa?
See,
Sudanese?
I'm gonna hold Sudanese because that's a new one, right?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna always buy Coach Vanel.
I can't leave the studio.
He's a great guy.
Because if it allows
Fourth quarter wins.
time
We
to
didn't come
prepare,
up with this. I promise you. We
just
didn't.
on the fly.
This was on the. We talked about
I'm like,
my moving
Sudanese?
issues.
Yeah,
and
he was
stuff like
moving.
that.
We were talking about moving.
And I was like, that's Farsi that they speak there. Sorry, I've watched a lot of CIA films. Teams on A&M's schedule that won't be as good as advertised. Buy, sell, hold.
Won't be as good as advertised.
Interesting.
Number 9, Oklahoma. Number 11, Alabama. Number 13, LSU.
Oof. I'll buy LSU on that one.
Really, I was gonna hold LSU because I think they're getting a lot of hype because of the coaching hire, but there's a lot of change over there.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. I think, obviously, new quarterback. installing new systems.
You're buying them
across
not
the
being
board.
as good, is what you're
Oh,
saying.
Exactly.
Not being as good.
Yeah, I think you. Yeah.
Is that?
I'll take them because I don't know. I think they could go either way.
They could, but
I'll buy Oklahoma not being as good.
Really?
Because I think the defense is going to be awesome. It always is when we've got a Brent Venables coach team, but just not a huge
Mateer fan.
And also the whole we were talking about physicality and how he looks. Body by anabolic as your starting quarterback when you don't have much depth behind him, but you got to stay healthy.
Yeah, but you got Sam Levitt who hasn't played.
He's on that Liz Frank injury. Yeah.
Yeah.
All three situations could come down to the quarterback play.
Oh, absolutely.
It always does.
It always does. It's the most important position in sports. And Alabama, new guy, but that one situation at quarterback could have the highest ceiling out of any of those guys.
We got to drop it there. Stephen, thank you very much, buddy.
Enjoyed it.
I'm going to go get on Duolingo for Sukadis.
Please do. It's good language.
It's great. Duolingo. We'll be back with Aaron Wallace, TexAgs Live. working on getting Aaron Wallace on the program here in a moment as we try to figure out if he'll Zoom or be on the phone. So we'll see if the folks in Bryan Broadcasting want to ask him directly, hey, do you want to do the phone or the Zoom? Zoom link was sent, by the way. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center as we figure that out. And we've got Carson Stein there. Carson?
I want to get into a little text message we got from Ryan in LaPorte saying, as a fan, I'm splitting the season into 2 parts. We have to start 8-0 and get that last month with the goal of, at worst, splitting 2-2 with games against playoff-level teams. That gets you into the CFP.
All right, so take that. Okay, I understand he's splitting it into 2 parts. So he's doing the 6 and the 6. Is that what he's saying?
Really, he's doing 8-4.
8-4.
Saying
okay.
You have to go 8-0, and then that last 4-game stretch go 2-2 at the worst to make the CFP.
I recognize that. I personally want to be playing my best football at the end of the year, and I don't know if 2-2 at the end after a couple of years of struggling down in November, right, is going to give me the confidence in the postseason that I want. Now, the end of the day is, can you make the postseason, right?
Can I ask, would you rather start 2-2 and finish 8-0?
2-2 with like Missouri State?
No, let's say Arizona State and LSU.
I would rather, I'd rather not lose ever. Okay, for the record.
Well, obviously, but in this scenario.
In this scenario, I think maybe 1 loss late, 1 loss in the middle kind of thing. All right, and that's super late. All right, and I don't want it to be the last game late.
Yeah.
I'm saying, you accidentally stumble at Oklahoma. Accidentally stumble at South Carolina. God, I hope not, because that place has been a disaster for me to go to. But those are the places I would say, if you're going to, and somewhere early, if it's LSU, if it's Bama. I would rather not lose any of those games. Please understand. But if you had to lose 2, right? If you had to lose 2, that those would be the 2 that I would pick. But I'm not picking to lose any. I hope people don't get mad at me for saying this. So let's do this. Why don't we run the interview that we're talking about doing at 10 o'clock? Why don't we run our interview with Damian Sanford as I figure out what's going on with Aaron Wallace, and we'll do that here. If Nick can get that queued up for me, he'll let me know when he's got that. And so let's do that. Let's run the interview with Damian Sanford here as we figure out when we're going to get Aaron Wallace here on TexAgs Live. Hey everybody, and welcome into The Huddle, brought to you by TexAgs and United. Our guest is Damian Sanford, the day before camp begins. What's up, man?
Sir, what's up?
So, I know it's going to take some time for you to be able to do what you want to do, but how exciting is it that it's here? Like, football season, it's been here for you guys because you work all off season, but it's like another step towards that first game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see what this team, has to, go this year. A lot of, fall camp, a lot of people, players, they take it differently. They try to go in survival mode. So I feel like we come with the right mindset this year during fall camp, trying to be what our feet are, take those major steps this fall camp and make sure we focus on the little details that we need to focus on. We're going to be really good versus Missouri State.
Yeah, so help us understand, people think about we know they work in the off season, but really it's all about fall camp. But everything is a kind of a piece of the puzzle, right? So you've got to do, your conditioning initially, and you got to get ready for spring ball, and spring ball lays a foundation. And then what you do in the summer lays a foundation for what you do in the fall. And what you do for the fall doesn't happen unless you've done all the work before. So kind of help us understand that process for you guys.
Yeah, Echo has, taught us, that process well. We categorize it in quarters. We're in 4th quarter right now, so we're just trying to be what our feet are. And like I said, it's 4th quarter. We got to finish this 4th quarter out the right way. So, fall camp is where we do it. Do you, when we get to a milestone like the first day of practice, does the intensity kind of there's a certain level of intensity you bring to spring ball and it's high, but then now it's hey, this is season time. We got to. Yeah, we're getting closer and closer to the game. So, the intensity of communication, all that chemistry got to be there. Because, we're getting closer and closer to the game. It's really, same thing we've been doing. Spring ball, it's the same intensity. It's really nothing really changes. But yeah.
During your rehab, how important is it the relationships with the other guys that are rehabbing? We spoke earlier about Dejon sticking around and you guys were working together. How important is it for you guys to kind of be there for each other because you're all going through things?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've grown closer to BD and Jermaine in the rehab process. Just understanding their work ethic and understand what they're going through. But pushing each other was really good in the off season. Because you never know what somebody's going through. Somebody could be down that day, and another guy in the little training thing could see them that they're down and try to lift them up. So I feel like it's really good, like connecting with each other and like understanding like how we, you know, go about our day, you know, how we work. So like it's good.
I know you're not cleared to go just yet. Whenever you are cleared, is there like jump out of a cannon kind of thing, like, or do you have to kind of take it?
Oh yeah, no, I'm taking it day by day.
Yeah.
You know, everybody up there told me not to really rush it. So you know, I'm just trying to take that advice, not really rush it, be where my feet are. So I'm just, you know, take it day by day.
Let's talk about some of the guys in the room with you that have grown quite a bit. Some are new, like Ray came in. Jordan's been here for a minute with you. Like and Noah McHale obviously has had a big spring. Take me through some of these guys and what you expect from them.
Yeah, Ray has been doing a pretty good job. You know, a lot of people say Elko's defense is pretty hard, but I think he came in and really, you know, showed that he could really learn, and he's grown since he came here. You know, he's making a lot of strides. Made a lot of plays in spring that I've seen, but he's making a lot of strides. Noah, he's been, you know, I've seen what he could do. So I feel like he's
ready.
Yeah, he's ready. Yeah, he's been making a big strides. I feel like this year, I was just say stay tuned for this year because he's gonna be pretty good for us, and I'm not really worried about what he can do because you know I've seen it since last year. J-Lock has been making pretty good strides too, taking that leadership role too in that group. You know, he's been setting an example for the young guys in there too. The young guys come along too very well. T.Y., as you know, I talk about T.Y. a lot. He has really great potential to be really good. I can't wait to see how he progresses through the years. You know, the other guys, Storm, Quee, Tank, all those guys, you know, they got a lot of potential now.
Quee looks like he's a man.
Yeah, he's big. Yeah, he's very, very physical. So I feel like, he got a lot of potential too.
How much, so a lot of it was made about, you said something about the Elko defense being, you know, some people think it's really hard to understand it right away. What makes it? Because, especially for a linebacker, you got to know everything that's happened.
Yes, sir. It's just really the terminology, you know, a lot of terminology, a lot of different checks that has to be made, a lot of different adjustments that have to be made. But, you know, it comes with reps, repetition, stuff like that. So, yeah.
How much pride do the linebackers take this year? Last year, this team was really good defensively, but then you had the propensity to give up a big run, right? Sometimes it was a misfit. Sometimes it was just a big play. Sometimes the D-line. Everybody shares in the blame. How much do you guys kind of look at yourselves like, all right, we're going to make sure it stops with us?
I'm going to take ownership of that because, you know, I was part of that last year. I had a lot of, you know, busts during the games. You know, I feel like this year we just, you know, focus on consistency. I feel like in practice, you focus on consistency and being where you're supposed to be, you know, doing your job. I feel like, you know, we make big strides this year. So I feel like it's taught me to push those players to be more consistent.
I forget the first time we talked in the studio. Let's say it was a year ago, year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Mentally, not physically, but mentally, where's Damian Sanford today as opposed to a year ago today?
Mentally, you know, just after the injury, you know, I felt pretty good. You know, like going through what I went through last year, trying to cope through like everything that's happened, you know, to me last year. I came to understand like it's really a mindset thing more than physical. You know, like trying to approach the day better, approach practice better, you know, my practice habits, everything like that. But right now, you know, I'm just trying to focus, like be where my feet are, focus on it now, and just trying to become a better player than I was last year.
You're trying to be a better player than you were last year. Can this team be a better team than it was last year?
Oh, for sure, yes, sir. I say one thing I see in our team that everybody's really hungry. You know, we have something to prove. A lot of players have something to prove here. You know, a lot of players don't really get the shine that they, you know, really deserve. But I feel like, you know, like I said at SC Media Day, you know, we don't have any, you know, hardware, no trophies in the trophy case. Like Elko's always preach. So I feel like we really got a team that's really hungry that really want to go get it this year.
So to get that trophy case, you got to do well in November. Does November come up, or is it now? It's the whole thing.
Yeah, really the whole thing. I'm gonna just keep preaching. You know, be where your feet are. Just stay in it now. We focus on one game at a time. Just trying to be 1-0 against Missouri State.
Do you remember when you fell in love with football, and why you fell in love with football? Like, was it Pop Warner? Where was it?
So here's a funny story. My dad keeps bringing it up. He said that, you know, I was throwing the football around when I was a young kid, and we would always walk by like little football practices when I was younger, and I would always point at the field, And he used to always tell us when we watch TV, like, you're going to be on TV one day. And shoot, it came true. So, I think that's when I really loved football, was when I was really young, yeah.
How much do you love being here at Texas A&M?
I really love it. They supported me all through these years, they've been great to me. I like seeing the fans, show out in game days. That's really fun. Like Kyle Field be rocking during the game.
Yeah.
So,
has A&M changed you? Like, just like being a part of this community around these people, like, has it kind of changed you in a positive way?
Oh yeah, I feel like coming in, I was really really introvert. I feel like they've helped me open up a little bit more. I show my personality a little bit more. So I feel like they've done a great job with that.
In my time knowing you, I wouldn't have said introvert, but a little bit more quiet.
You're quiet, yeah.
And you are definitely, you're not quiet anymore, man. Like, it's part of growth, right?
I'm still kind of a little bit quiet off the field, but on the field, I'm loud. But off the field, I like to just, I'm not really like outgoing, not really like, I like to make fun of people sometimes, like, joke around here and there, but, I just, not really outgoing.
Well, I can't wait to see you out on the field. Hopefully the next time we chat, you'll be playing, get some sacks and some interceptions.
Some plays, yeah.
And going all the way to some hard work. Thank you, Damian.
Appreciate you.
Damian Sanford here on The Huddle on TexAgs.com. All right, that was part of our conversation with Damian Sanford. Appreciate him coming by studio. A lot more left on the show. 9:35, Aaron Torres. Still trying to figure out Aaron Wallace situation. I'll let you know when we get back in contact with him. When it comes to your money and your peace of mind, it starts with the right team. That right team is Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary serving clients all across Texas. No commissions, no sales pitches, just trusted advice tailored to you. They have a team of 18 professionals, including 9 CFPs, a CFA, and a CPA, and their expertise runs deep at Paragon because credentials matter, and so does your future. Visit paragon-adv.com or give them a call, 979-693-3907 to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors. We're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. And I know we're going to have Aaron Torres at 9:35. Haven't heard back from Aaron Wallace. He texted me this morning, so let's see what he says. Yeah, we'll get it. We'll get him on here soon. So I'll let you guys know when I hear from him. Anyway, a couple of things I want to get into. This caught my attention, and then Carson Stein, of course it caught your attention because he was going to bring it up anyway. I don't want to make this a political segment. I don't want to do it. I just found it interesting. Nick, did you see what I put on the rundown for this segment?
Let me check.
I'll just read it to you.
Yeah, read it to me. That's all right.
FSU board chair uses Cuba analogy to criticize realignment restrictions. And
tell me more.
I'm like, wait, what? Because, in 1960s Cuba and throughout Castro's regime there, if you had a disagreement with the government, they'd put you in jail. They'd kill you. This is documented. This is factual, right? Everybody is a socialist government. And sorry, my parents fled that. We're not a fan of socialism or communism. But to compare the Protect College Sports Act to it caught my attention just for a moment. I was like, and the FSU guy, the Florida State board guy, said basically it's you want to move to Miami, but you have to live in Cuba for 5 years. That was the comparison. And by the way, I personally don't like the idea of, hey, you can move to a conference, but you got to wait 5 years. But then the flip side to that, well, you guys want to go back to the way it used to be, to where you can transfer once without a penalty, and then you have to serve a penalty if you're an athlete. Couple things on that. There's way too much with football around the corner, literally not even around the corner. We're less than a month away from the first game, and practice started yesterday. You have your second practice today. Way too much talking about legal courtrooms, what the playoffs could look like. We need to talk football, and I'm the one who's choosing the topic, so I'm to blame here. But, I think all of us, regardless of what happens in a courtroom, at least if you watch TexAgs, I believe you're going to watch college football on Saturday. That's just my opinion of the situation. Is it possible that you get disenfranchised with the way college sports are going? Yeah, of course, it's possible. I don't watch the NBA anymore. I watch a little bit of it. I love watching high-level basketball, but I don't love it the way I used to. Well, why, David? Why don't you love it the way you used to? There's several reasons. Some people stop watching the NFL for political reasons. Some people stop watching the NBA for political reasons. I just personally don't like the brand of basketball as much as I used to. That's just me. And I don't know if I like the personalities the way I used to, right? And I'm talking about an NBA here. In the NBA, I loved Chuck. I loved Michael. Even the generation after them, the Dirks, the Steve Nashes. There was something. These guys, I don't know, just like rappers today. I'm not going to mumble and talk through the show. So I think we do grow. But part of the reason some people stop watching is for political reasons. College football is in a similar space that, if college athletics does not take care of today, tomorrow could look different, right? But right now, I don't think there's ever been more interest, and I'll get back to the Florida State thing. I don't think there's ever been more interest in college football. I think more people are interested. I think the reason Texas A&M is considered a top 10 team with 10 guys going to the NFL is because of A, the head coach, and B, what he was able to do in the portal. So the portal has helped A&M to make people think, all right, the transition shouldn't be that long. So there's a lot I like about it right now, and there's a lot that I would wish it would change. Do I think this whole you got to sit out 5 years is similar to Cuba? No, I chuckle. I'm not offended by it. I chuckle at it. I understand what they mean by it, but I think they could absolutely do something different to where you don't have to wait. I just don't think that makes sense. Maybe once you start this deal, right, and you say, all right, you got 5 years from now that you can make any changes, but once that deal is done, it is what it is, and you've got to stay in it for the next 10 years. You got to sign a deal. But I don't like this. I'm going to put you in this little space for 5 years, and you're going to have to find your own schedule. You're going to have to play the Little Sisters of the Poor for the next 5 years. That part I don't like. So I just wanted to bring that up for a moment because I thought it was a little extreme comparison, but I get it. There was a topic that came up, Carson, that you wanted to bring up to the show.
Yeah, so USA Today they released a list of the top 25 teams from the coaches poll that came out, and it's one lingering question for each of those teams. I kind of just want to go over the SEC teams, or just the teams on A&M schedule at least. So Missouri, the question they have is, can the Tigers handle a tougher schedule?
I got other questions than that.
Well, they bring up how the past 2 seasons Missouri's had a more favorable schedule, but this year they face A&M, Ole Miss, Texas, Georgia, and Oklahoma.
Man. By the way, I feel like this schedule talk, every show in the SEC is having the same talk, because now with the way the schedules are rotating every year, and I know there's like a 2-year cycle where you're going to take on these teams, but there's a year in between, that you're going to face, there was a time where if you were in the SEC East, there might have been one really good team, and the rest were good, but not, right? Now you're going to get, if you're not getting Georgia, you're getting Texas. And if you're not getting Texas, you're getting Oklahoma. And you're probably going to get LSU or Alabama. And in A&M's case, everybody I just said.
Yep.
Everybody I just said. Missouri, yes. Can they handle the hard schedule? I think that is lowbrow or low-hanging fruit. Yes. Can they? They got to figure out their quarterback situation. If Austin Simmons is what they thought he was going to be at Ole Miss, and I know Lane Kiffin was all in on him, then that transition, because they're going to be able to run the ball. We'll see about Ahmad Hardy's health, but I think they'll be able to run the ball. And Drake is a good coach. The schedule, but it's going to really come down to what kind of quarterback Austin Simmons will be. What else?
So they have in Tennessee, obviously number 18 in the coaches poll. Their question for Tennessee is, could the quarterback battle last into September? And they bring up how Josh Heupel is yet to name a starting quarterback between George McIntyre and Faison Brandon. I mean, I think we've talked about it before on the show. I think that's a big question for Tennessee and what they can look like this year.
Well, the first month of the season, the first game is Furman, then they go to Georgia Tech, then they host Kennesaw State before they get the Texas game at home. If it goes in, I am not worried about the quarterback situation at Tennessee for Tennessee. Now, that's from them being a pretty good offense. There's a difference between Hendon Hooker and Joe Milton, to where Hendon Hooker made them a potential championship level team. And since that point, they've been good, but not that level of good, right? Like Joe Milton was good, but he wasn't Hendon Hooker.
Oh yeah, it was a big fall. I wouldn't say a big fall off, but it was a fall off.
And Nico was fine,
he was
right?
about the same.
But they went to the playoffs with Nico, right? So I'm not worried about their quarterback situation. I think they're going to get good play. Now, if they get great play, that's where it's a game changer. But I think they're going to get good play regardless, because I think it's kind of like Lane Kiffin in a different way, in a maybe a Pepsi versus Coke kind of way, whichever one you think is the better one.
So can I ask, what would your question be for Tennessee, or about Tennessee, if you have one?
How quickly does the Noles defense take form? That would be my question.
Okay.
I think the defense was a problem for them last year. They had some injuries as well. I think that would probably be my question for them. I am not as worried about their offense being good. Now, what level of good is a completely different story.
Okay, now we got LSU at 13. They say, how quickly does this team come together? Which I feel like that's a question we've talked about a lot.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of talked about a lot.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that. But I hate to be easy like talk show host, but like, to me, what is Sam Levitt's health? I don't think he's great. I don't. But I don't think it matters with Lane Kiffin as your head coach. If you're healthy, I think you're going to put up some really good numbers.
Yeah.
So I'll agree with how long it takes. But Lane Kiffin has rebuilt teams before. He did it at Ole Miss on several occasions. I think their success comes down to Sam Levitt's health. If he is limited and not a go-go, and I'll follow that up with how important to his success is the LSU running game, because we saw him at his absolute best with Cam Scadaboo. Without Cam, he was good-ish, and then he got hurt. So
they were good at Arizona State, but they struggled at times.
Yeah. Next one.
Alabama at number 11, they have, is this another struggling rushing attack?
That is, you could kind of say that exact same thing for LSU. Like, to me, the running game will make, I think Keelan Russell is going to win the job. I don't think it's going to be Austin Mack.
Yeah.
I don't. So how good is Keelan Russell as a first-year freshman? But you can't put everything on him, or first-year starter. What you can, though, do is you can put a lot of that on the running game to take it off. And they weren't able to run. They didn't have a great offensive line last year. So the protection of the quarterback and also the ability to run the ball. Yes, I agree with that.
All right, we have Ole Miss at number 10. Their question is, what changes under Pete Golding?
Don't disagree. I think Pete Golding has a couple things going for him. Continuity, right? But now, he has a little momentum from the end of last season. He starts this season with that quarterback in Trinidad Chambliss, right? The running game's intact. Like, I feel from that perspective and where the momentum feels like is going, I think he is fine. But without your coordinators in place, how different does it feel? Because I feel like at the end of last year, Lane Kiffin wasn't coaching, but the ghost of Lane Kiffin still had hands on what was happening, right? Yeah. Like, he had set the agenda. He had, from the moment of the offseason training through, what was it, November-ish, where he left. I feel like all that was, and then it was just, all right, we're just going to continue doing meetings at the same time. We're going to continue running the same defense. We're going to continue running the same offense. Now, you have Pete Golding doing everything, and I'm curious how much of it is his own and how much of it is just an extension of what he had with Lane.
I feel like not enough people are talking about Ole Miss in the sense of so much of their offense is returning. Pete Golding's a defensive guy, and I feel like more of their defense left and went with Lane Kiffin to LSU than any other part of that team.
Yeah. But if Pete Golding's a good defensive coach, you would expect the defense to be at least at a certain standard.
Yeah.
And then you've got freaking Trinidad Chambliss, who's the best quarterback statistically in that conference, and he should be going in as the 1A quarterback in the SEC.
We have Oklahoma at number 9, and they ask, can the offense become more explosive?
Yeah. I mean, we talked about Mateer. I mean, I would say, can Mateer, just like Marcel, cut the turnovers down? To me, more than the explosiveness. I don't expect them to be this explosive offense.
No.
But can they be more explosive? Can they run the ball? Can they limit turnovers? I don't disagree with that.
I feel like they're the most cut and dry team of, if the offense can play any way better than last year, they'd be good. The only problem I have with this list is A&M, number 8. We already know the answer, but is Damian Samford ready to return?
That's not my question. If there was a little bit less visibility from Damian Samford, then I'd be like, maybe. But that's not my question. Is still the offensive line. That's still my question. And if they get that figured out, I think they'll be fine.
All right, and then they have Texas at 4. Can Will Muschamp elevate the defense?
The defense was pretty good last year. I think, can Will Muschamp bring a physicality to the entire roster, right? Can they be some angry dogs? I think that they lacked a little bit of that for parts of the season. So, yeah, I mean, I can get that. Also, what does Arch's maturation process look like? Do we get the Arch we saw at the end of the year, or do you get the one you got beginning and middle?
Yeah. Georgia at number 3, they have who emerges at wide receiver?
Yeah, I mean, they lost Zachariah Branch. I think Noah Thomas is out too, right?
Yeah, lost Branch, lost Noah Thomas.
Yeah, so I think they picked up Isaiah Canyon. Is that right? Isaiah Canyon. So, and he played at Tech and had a really good year. So, yeah, I can agree with that. Anyone else?
That's the last of the SEC teams. Do you want anybody else?
Nah, we'll hit a break because we got Aaron Torres on the other side. Right now, we're talking Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. If you're looking for a deal, you're looking for a vehicle, you're looking for good people, you go to Caldwell Country Chevrolet. They're always stocking up on new vehicles, and their inventory is growing daily, and they are south of those big city prices with no dealer add-ons. What you see is what you pay. They're locally owned. They have an Aggie alumni team ready to roll out the red carpet for you, and they will give you value. Every purchase comes with a free oil change for life as long as you own that vehicle. That's thousands of dollars in savings just by buying your car at Caldwell Country Chevrolet, making sure that you keep it. Remember, it's about a 15-minute drive the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. A short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the good people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. Hey everyone, David Nuno here of TexAgs Live. I want to introduce you to the team at Holistic Planning. Got Jason Barber here, Taylor Pankratz, and also Paul Meredith. Jason, I want to start off with you. What really sets Holistic Planning apart from the others?
Yeah, so what makes us different is most financial advisors stop at investment management. On the other hand, Holistic Planning, we manage investments, taxes, and estate planning all on one team, all underneath one roof.
Now, Taylor, when everything is coordinated like that, it really helps the bottom line, doesn't it?
It really does. When your investments and taxes are working together, you stop leaving money on the table and keep more of what's yours.
Paul, Holistic Planning is trying to expand as well.
That's true. We just opened our Houston office, and we're looking for people who feel like their advisor isn't seeing the full picture, because that's exactly what we fix.
And Jason, there's other opportunities beyond that.
Definitely. If you're a financial advisor and you want to join the Holistic Planning team, we're looking to add 50 teams in the next 5 to 10 years. So check out holisticplanning.com/advisors.
All right, so if you want a team that actually coordinates everything, go to holisticplanning.com. Aggies, this one is worth it. And we are back. It is TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is hour number 2 of the program. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Around College Athletics, brought to you by Milliken Reserve, a College Station community featuring homes, trails, farms, and wide open spaces with a mission to build a healthy community around nature. Take part in the Milliken Reserve community with a Conservancy membership. Learn more at millikenreserve.com. With that, we go to the Puppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. Aaron Torres joining us. AT, what up, buddy?
David Nuno, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
I'm good. So I don't remember, but we were having a great conversation last Thursday.
Yeah.
And we were up against it. Do you remember what it was about? Because I don't. I just remembered as I started talking to you.
Okay, good, because I actually don't remember. So I'm going to toss the ball right back to you. I'm Marcel Reed. You're open in the end zone. Just go ahead and lob it to me, or I guess it'd be the opposite. Anyway, what were we discussing?
I don't know. I forgot, too. So Nick said he'll let me know by the end of the interview so I can ask you, and then we'll run out of time to talk about that again. That's okay, though.
Maybe we'll remember next week. It's okay. It's all right.
Hey,
it'll be week 8, and we'll just be discussing whatever it was in the preseason that had us so fired up. It'll be great.
So now that practices have started around the country, the way you prepare for your show change? Does the way you talk about football change? Because I feel like as their intensity steps up, I feel like we as talk show hosts have to kind of step up what we're looking at. It's not these, hey, is the Protect God Sports Act going to pass? Are we going to do a 16 or 24 team play? Like, we're getting to football now.
Yeah, it was funny. Your buddy Ryan Fowler yesterday said, we survived another off season, and I think in the way that you framed it of, thank God we don't have to talk court cases and whatever, I still feel like the news is maybe more of a trickle now than ever before, but I think the good part is we're at least getting coaches at the podium, players at the podium. You know, I think, yes, and I think there's obviously storylines that need to be followed. I mean, obviously, I know this is an A&M show, but Alabama's got a quarterback competition. Tennessee's got a quarterback competition. You know, Texas has a new defensive coordinator. And so I'm not saying that, you know, Josh Heupel is going to name a starting quarterback for week 1 on day 2 of fall camp. But, you know, if you listen to the press conferences and you do your homework and you put in the work, it's like you kind of start to get a feel for where things are trending on a lot of these stories. So it is close, but it feels like it should be closer. I mean, we still have, I think, exactly 30 days till that first Saturday of the season. I'm glad it's only 30 as opposed to whatever 150, but it's like it's the weird time of camps are open, you can smell the grass, whatever, but it's also like the actual tangible news that we're going to get. I'll be curious to see over the next 2 to 3 weeks.
So Nick tells me we ended the show with the topic about teams that are most dependent on elite quarterback play, but I think we talked about it. I think we broke it down. Did we not?
Yeah. No, I think we did. I think my answer was probably I think I said Alabama, but we don't know who the quarterback is. And I think I said Sam Levitt at LSU, who I kind of have some more doubts on than maybe the national discourse. But no, it's a great Trinidad Chambliss. I mean, you could name 100 different teams. Great topic by you. Great prep. Great job by Nick for coming back full circle. But it was a great topic. It was a great topic.
This is a complimentary show. I appreciate that. You're doing a great job today, Aaron.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to ask you about the. Thank you. And we'll probably get into Sam Levitt here because I agree with you. But I'm going to throw you some topics of the biggest unknowns in college football. I want you to pick the biggest unknown from what I throw at you, and then we can kind of work our way through these. All right. So Marcel Reed's leap, Lane Kiffin at LSU, Alabama year 3 for Kalen DeBoer, Oklahoma's offense, and let's throw in Florida under John Summerall. How different they look. What to you is the biggest unknown, and then we can kind of work our way through these.
Okay. I actually think that's an easy one. I think it's Kalen DeBoer entering year 3. And, you know, you mentioned again, I mentioned because I'm doing a great job according to you, you know, that you're starting to see stuff out of fall camp. And it was interesting. Kalen DeBoer was asked, hey, picked to finish 6th in the ACC, 11th in the coaches poll. It's low, crazy stat. It's the lowest ranking Alabama has had in a preseason coaches poll since 2008. Anyway, he was asked about it yesterday. He said, yeah, we're aware of what you guys think of us, basically. And so it feels like there is internal confidence in that building. And why I think it becomes a fascinating conversation, David Nuno, it's not, there isn't an obvious answer. It isn't crash and burn. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. They went to a playoff and won a playoff game. But one, there was a reason that we spent 10 years saying, I sure wouldn't want to be the guy to replace Nick Saban. Like, that's going to be the toughest job maybe in the history of college football. And I think it is proving to be because, to your point, you know, you just brought up Oklahoma, the offense, Brent Venables. Oklahoma's coming off of a playoff appearance where they lost in the opening round of the playoffs. And all we're doing is talking about how great of a job Brent Venables did and da-da-da-da, this and that. Alabama made the playoff, played for an SEC championship, won a playoff game at Oklahoma, and all we're doing is saying, what the heck is wrong with that guy? Is he as good as we expect? So to me, that is an easy answer of the biggest question mark because you can look at it from the glasses half full perspective, playoff appearance, win a game in the playoff. You can look at it from the glasses half empty perspective of you lost 4 games in back-to-back years at Alabama. That is well below the standard. That's why, to me, to answer your question, that's the most interesting topic to me specifically.
I agree with you because I think people are way too critical of what Alabama did last year, other than they got embarrassed in the playoffs. But I feel like Indiana embarrassed everybody that they played. let's go through some of these. I am not that worried, or I don't think it's that a big of an unknown for Marcel Reed to take a leap. I don't think he has to take a leap, Aaron. I've said it over and over. I don't think that's the problem with Marcel. I think what he just needs to do is not turn the ball over at the end of the season. I don't know. His highs were so good last year that if he just gets rid of some of those lows, I think Marcel's going to be just fine.
Yeah, listen, I can't follow every discourse on the internet. For what we do, I actually do try to do my best, no sarcasm. And maybe I'm blinded by the fact that I was on air during that fourth quarter drive against Notre Dame last year in South Bend. But I don't see the glaring, I wouldn't even say concern, but maybe question mark. I don't see that glaring question mark that everybody else does. And I do think part of it is the talent that is around him. Now, the big question for me with A&M, which is something I'm sure you've been discussing for months now, is the schedule is just so much tougher. And we don't have to do this debate now, but it is unquestionable that the bottom of the SEC was just dog you-know-what last year. And, I was talking to Fowler about this yesterday, is what made last year so interesting was you basically, if you had those bottom 4 or 5 teams on the schedule, it was an automatic win unless those teams were playing each other. And I know you brought up a great point. Arkansas was competitive even if they lost these games. Auburn had all sorts of NFL talent, Florida, whatever. But I think this year the bottom of the league is going to step back up. I think, you mentioned Summerall, I think Alex Golish, I think Will Stein. Those teams are just going to be tougher outs than they've been. And so not all of them necessarily apply to Texas A&M, but with the schedule at Alabama, with the schedule of Texas at home to end the year, with the schedule falling away. Listen, I know you destroyed LSU to the point that they had to fire Brian Kelly last year in Baton Rouge, but I think it's going to be a different deal. My concerns with A&M are just, can you survive a much tougher schedule than it is Marcel Reed has to make some huge leap for this team to have success?
Aaron, I think when it comes to LSU, it's more about Sam Leavitt than it is about Lane Kiffin, because if Sam Leavitt is healthy, I think Lane Kiffin's going to get the best version of Sam Leavitt. I was never that impressed with him. I think he's a gamer, but his game, to me, was predicated on an incredible run game that he had at Arizona State. So if LSU can run the ball effectively, I think he'll put up good numbers, but I just don't know how healthy he is.
Yeah, I'm torn because I tend to agree with everything that you said about Leavitt, and I haven't been as big of a fan. I sort of understood the bluster around him in the portal, but let's also call a spade, is that I think the day Lane Kiffin left LSU, he thought he was bringing Trinidad Chambliss with him to LSU. We don't have to get into that, neither here nor there. But why I'm bringing it up is because I don't have faith in Sam Leavitt. I think it's worth noting, he missed spring practice because of that foot surgery. The counter is, though, for all of the off-the-field stuff with Lane Kiffin, credit where it's due. Every year his teams are competitive regardless of how much turnover that he has. And really, he was the first guy in this era to master bringing in 25, 30, 35 guys out of the transfer portal from different backgrounds, different schools, different win-loss records, whatever, and figuring out a way to make it work. And so I'll try to be quick here, but I remember this time last year being really down on Ole Miss. They lost Jackson Dart. Walter Nolan was a first-round pick, and they were freaking awesome. And so I think their ceiling will certainly be how good is Sam Leavitt, but I also have doubted Lane Kiffin at this time of the year before, and I've lived to regret it. And so, again, for all of the stuff and antics off the field, the guy really is phenomenal on Saturdays. And that, to me, I think just becomes a fascinating conversation about what LSU's ceiling can become because of that.
Do you think Florida can have a quick rise with John Summerall?
I don't have the schedule in front of me. I remember looking at it about 2-3 weeks ago, and by Florida standards, it's relatively manageable. First of all, they were 4-8 last year, so that is something that I think. We think, Florida kind of stunk last year. What'd they finish? 6-6, 7. They went 4-8 and got blown out by Kentucky. A week, 2 weeks before they fired Mark Stoops. So they were really bad. I think that why I like Florida is a few things. One, on the schedule, no LSU, no Tennessee, who I think Tennessee is probably the most overlooked team in this league going into the season, which is just weird from a rivalry perspective. Florida State, nobody thinks much of. But the other thing is, Nuno, I don't have the stats in front of me. Go back and look at the first month of their season last year. They played nothing but excellent teams, and the defense was actually very, very, very good. And the defensive statistics kind of fell off because once Napier kind of got fired, the whole building kind of fell apart, if we're being honest. But early in the season, they played Miami, they played LSU, they played, I can't remember everybody off the top of my head, but the defense was very good. And so they bring back a lot of those guys. I think there can be an improvement, especially with no LSU, no Tennessee on the schedule. They're going to have tough games. I know that they play at Texas. I know they got Ole Miss at home, all that. But I do think there will be an improvement, in part because, again, they were 4-8 last year, which I don't think people fully remember exactly how bad it got by the end of last season.
AT, is there somebody in the top 25 that you think, man, those guys are frauds? Maybe they're LSU from last year. Is there somebody that you look at there in the top 10, 15, 25, whatever it may be, and you're like, I just don't buy them being that level of team?
So first of all, you didn't do it on purpose, but thanks for the shout-out, because I remember last year saying, I don't understand the hype with LSU. I didn't think Brian Kelly was going to get fired, but I didn't understand the hype. Nobody, super jumps off the page. I do think Penn State at number 17 in the first coaches poll. Listen, I get Matt Campbell, culture. He brought literally his entire, starting 22 from Iowa State. I think he set a record for most players to follow him. It was 22, 23, whatever. I think it's a big leap. I know their schedule is manageable, but the manageable schedule still includes at Washington, at Michigan, both top 20 teams, USC at home. And so, I think 8-4 is probably about where they are. I don't know that I see them crashing and burning. I know that there's some stat that says, one team that starts in the top 10 will finish with a losing record or whatever. I don't know that anybody jumped out to me as fitting that bill this year. But yeah, I think Penn State felt a little bit overrated to me. There were a couple others. I think Ole Miss is maybe a little bit high at whatever they came in, 8, 9, 10, something like that. I think A&M was 8, so it would have been 9 or 10. But yeah, no, I don't actually see anybody that I think is just colossally misranked coming into the year. And I think in previous years you could say that, like you said about LSU last year.
AT, great stuff, brother. Appreciate your time.
All right, David, it was fun, man. We'll do it next week, all right?
Yes, sir. That's Aaron Torres here on TexAgs Live on the Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We'll hit a break, come back with an open segment, followed by, I don't know, maybe something fun, and then the fan show. Brazos Running Company, they're locally owned, they're Aggie owned and operated. They're a specialty running store with the best selection of running shoes and gear. When you need that running, I know a lot of you like to go running, walking, whatever it may be. They'll help you find the right one. From Brooks to On to Hoka, they have it all. If you're a runner, a walker, interested in fitness at all, the right shoe makes all the difference in the world. And when you go there and talk to Mike, you're going to find out, A, that he's passionate about running. He's passionate about getting you in the right shoes. They are the local retailer for Viore. They've got Dubcan. They got Turtle Box speakers. You name it, they are the place to go there at Century Square. It is the Brazos Running Company, located at Century Square below the Star Center Grill in College Station. It is the Brazos Running Company. And we're back. TexAgs Live. As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That is at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. Let's find out what's popping on TexAgs today. Carson Stein, Angry Elephant News and Social Center.
Alrighty, David. So on TexAgs today, we have sights and sounds in the photo gallery from the first fall practice of yesterday, with some snippets as well by Bronny. Go check those out. Also on the site from yesterday, we have press conference from DJ Hicks and Ruben Owens. I know we talked about that a little bit earlier. We have Around the SEC by Jason Howell. So if you want to go see what's going on around the SEC in recruiting, go check that out. And the set from Kay Nagley officially dropped today, sponsored by Capstone.
Let's go.
More practice coverage today. And another thing, I don't know if you know this, David.
I don't.
Lucci is on Paul Feinbaum today at 4 p.m. on the SEC Network. So go check that out.
Yeah, I did see that. Looking forward to seeing just Billy on that set. Paul Feinbaum, good buddy of ours. It'll be fun. It'll be good times. All right, let's we got a minute. Come on, give me something to chew on, Carson. This is what you get paid the big bucks for, to provide some commentary in these open segments. What do you have?
Hold on, let me get some text.
There's no hold-ons. There's just go. All right? We just go here.
I mean, I have a text from earlier when we were talking about the splitting the season into two parts.
Uh-huh.
I mean, this is obvious, but Ray from Great Falls says TU is a must-win game. Number one, he's flying from Montana to go to the game, and number two, I hate them.
Well, it's a must-win in my eyes, but it's not a must-win in the grand scheme. What's a must-win is the last game you play in. And if you make the playoffs, right? Like, if you make the playoffs, just keep winning games. Look, I want to beat them so bad. I do. I don't like that they have scoreboard. I don't like their arrogance. I would have the same arrogance if we were beating them every time, right? There's an arrogance that we have towards LSU right now.
Yeah.
Because A&M's beat them twice. I don't like it. I don't think the conference likes them. There isn't a media member that I've talked to, like, man, those guys are great. You guys are, man, they're a really nice group of people.
Who could have predicted that?
My wife is a Longhorn. She's all right. She's great. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back. I want you guys to hear from Tiger Ryder next on TexAgs Live. We're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Super excited about the running backs, as I've mentioned. Had an opportunity to talk with Tiger Ryden yesterday, and it was a fun conversation. Young man is ready to show what he can do. Unfortunately, got injured early last year, so we didn't really get to see a refined product. And he hopes that this is the year that he gets to show off some of those skills that made him such a highly coveted running back just a year and a half ago. Let's listen to this interview from Texas Aggies United with Tiger Ryden. Everybody, and welcome into the Huddle, brought to you by TexAgs and United. Our guest is Tiger Ryden. What's up, man?
What's up? How you doing?
Good. So I've obviously followed your career, high school, since you got here to Texas A&M, but my first time to talk to you, today camp starts, man. You pumped?
I can't wait. It's like waiting on the birthday.
So take me back to last year, when you had the setback, what you're thinking. Kind of take me through mentally, and then what the next 11 months felt like, or 12 months.
When it first happened, mentally I was like frustrated. I'm trying to rush on the field, and as I see like I can't think the same, I gotta slow down. I had good support with the training staff, so they got me to slow down, take things slow. And once I was able to get my mental right, it was a smooth 3 months. I got back with the team, got to play a little special teams, fill myself out, and now I'm back healthy and strong.
Healthy and strong. Was it probably a combination of emotions, watching Jamarian play so well, thinking I could be doing that too, but also being proud of your guy?
Yeah, because you know that's my guy. We super tight. I came in with him. You know, I was so happy for him, but at the same time, I was like, yeah, I need to be out there with my guy. That's why I tried to get healthy so fast so I can be right next to him. But this year, this room is great.
Okay, well, let's talk about the room, because I mean, you got the vet and Ruben, you got Jamarian, you got yourself, you got these young guys. Like, you got a room.
This room, I'm so it's so great. Like, any one of us can get out the game and put somebody in, it won't be a setback. We all can block, we all can run, we all can catch. So it's no setback. Anybody get in the game, we confident we can win the game with them.
So for people who haven't watched you play in particular, how would you describe your style of running, and maybe kind of compare it to what's in the room?
Okay, I say physicality. Okay. That's what we live in. I run with physicality. I say I'm a pass blocker. I take pride in pass blocking. Our whole room take pride in pass blocking. And third, I would say I can catch out the backfield. That's something I'm improving on more, but I think that's one of my traits as well.
Sounds, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong here, but kind of similar to what I heard about EJ when he first got here. You guys similar games?
Yes, sir. I say a little bit similar to EJ, but I got my own style with the physicality, mixed it with the I can run, I got a good acceleration, things like that, but it's kind of similar to EJ, but not all the way.
So do you have to kind of pace yourself? I mean, this is going to be your first full camp because of the injury last year, but do you have to kind of pace yourself because you've been waiting, like you're ready to just jump out and do all this, but there's still a process in a month before the season starts?
I just say, just taking the coaching. Be consistent. I worked super hard this offseason, so I'm confident, and just take the coaching and play ball. I've been playing it my whole life.
So talk to me about Troop and what he means to that group.
Troop, man, that's my guy. I met him back when I was a junior. When I first met him, I was like, I want to go play for him.
Yeah.
And like he's so honest. He's so like honest feedback. That's all I ask for. And relationships, he's big on relationships. I can call Troop any day. He gonna pick up. When I had my accident, he was there with me all the way to 3 a.m. So like relationships are strong with him, and that's why I love him.
When you look back at last season, obviously you weren't able to participate as much as you wanted. It seemed like the running game was fantastic, and then it got plateaued a little bit towards the end. Why do you think that's the case? How much pride does this group want to show that, no, we can do this for an entire season?
Yes, I say this season, the O-line and us, we got a mindset. We got to recreate the line of scrimmage. That's what we big on this offseason, what we big on this fall camp, and we can't wait to show it.
So let's kind of go through some of the guys and talk about what you think that they bring to the table this year, all right? So let's start off with Ruben, who's the vet in the room. I remember when he was in your shoes years back, right? And he also had an injury early on in his career. Talk to me a little bit about what you've seen from Ruben so far.
Ruben, he a vet. He bring the football IQ. He bring experience. He every down back. You can learn anything from him. Yeah.
And then Jamarian?
J-Mo, he brings the elusiveness in the room, the shiftiness in the room, but he also can be physical.
Yeah, and then KJ and Carson.
KJ and Carson. And what I tell you, these guys is speed guys, but they can get physical too. If you look at them, you was like, they just speed guys, but they can do everything. They are every down back, both of them.
And then for you in particular, you said you like to pick up blocks. What about special teams?
Oh, I love special teams. Special teams win games. And I was taught that in high school too. So like I just carried on to college. I was like, special teams gonna get me on the field first. So I take very pride in that.
Well, your high school came up on the show today, and I mean, a proud tradition of getting guys ready for the next level. What is it? What is it about like that? What did they have taught you through the process?
I would say next man up mentality. Because you know we get a lot of good players through there. So it's the next man up, and you can never get comfortable because somebody can come in and take your spot at any time.
Obviously, we'll see it all roll out over the next couple of weeks. But what do you think this offense is going to look like this year?
One word, I say explosive.
Okay.
Explosive. We got guys that can make plays from everywhere.
Have you seen Marcel kind of grow up? Even though he was awesome last year, but have you seen him grow?
Yes, I say he's leading. He's one of the best leaders we got in the building right now.
And when you have so much turnover, so many guys going to the NFL, it's good reason to have turnover. Like, is it easy to keep that culture in place the way Coach Elko has set it up?
Yes, it's easy, especially when you got guys like him surrounding us. Like he keep his head on straight, and he leaves it in the past and he move forward.
What about this the schedule you guys have this year?
I mean, it's tough, but we built for it. Like Coach Elko said, it's our standard. We here, we're not running from it, and we got to face it.
And regardless of the schedule, as long as you guys do the work, I mean, you have the talent, right? So as long as you do the work, it'll be good.
Yes, sir. Like he said, we put in all this work. It's time to go show it.
Let's talk about the defense. You go against them. Are they? Because last year's defense was salty. Are they looking good?
Yes, sir. We got the secondary, one of the best secondaries I've seen with my own eyes. We got the D-line. We had to replace some studs. We got the D-line. We got big, strong guys. We replaced our edges with some good guys. Into Marco, guys like that. And yes, they're gonna come for you. We're gonna get a lot of turnovers this year.
Beyond Troop, do you remember why Texas A&M was your home? Why did you think it would be home?
So I always knew I was gonna be a hometown guy. And once I met Coach Elko and Coach Troop, I was like, this is where I want to be. You know, I've been around Texas A&M since like my 8th grade year. You know, Coach Tony, he was the DeSoto guy, so I've been around Texas A&M. So I always kind of liked it, but when I met them two, I was like, this is my choice.
Yeah, it's interesting too that the way Texas A&M, like for some kids, they don't know a lot about it, and then they get here and they know all about it. But it seems like because of the rich tradition of DeSoto and A&M, you had plenty of time to kind of get to know the program.
Yes, sir. I just been around it. You got Shamar Turner, guys like that I always been around, recruited me as I was going through the process. And so like A&M like a second home.
Yeah. When he was recruiting you, I mean, were you aware of how good he was? Like, did you understand it?
Yeah, I knew how good he was. I watched him growing up. When he was in high school, I went to DeSoto Middle School, and I always watched him and things like that. I was like, yeah, he good. He gonna be great.
When did you fall in love with football, and how did you fall in love with football?
I would say I fell in love with it around 6 years old. You know, when I first got into football, the first thing we ever did was run all day.
Yeah.
And I was like, Pops, I can't do this. Then one day I say, Pops, I want to go to practice. And ever since then, I fell in love with the game.
And were you always a running back? Did you play everywhere?
I started off at quarterback, but I realized all I did was run the ball. So I was like, I got to switch to running back.
So are you like Lev in the fact when you see a guy, you want to run through him? Is that how or do you like to kind of, what's your approach when it comes to that?
I would say my mindset is physicality. I choose physicality, but also you got to be smart.
Yeah.
So I know that I can't always do that because beating up on the body, it's a long season. So I got to mix the physical with the elusiveness. Kind of my game.
How did the name Tiger come about?
A little league football coach when I was around 6. You know, they called my pops Tiger growing up. So my little league coach started calling me Tiger, and I just ran with it.
Yeah. And everybody calls you Tiger?
Everybody called me Tiger.
Last thing for you. So it sounds like you're pretty bullish on this team. What kind of year do you think we can have?
An excellent year.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we're going past the first round this year.
Well, that's the thing Coach Elko talked about yesterday, and I know he brings it up in the building all the time. It's like doubling down on success. This program hasn't had a lot of success in back-to-back years, so this is like a mission for you guys.
It's the first thing on our mind. We cannot have a flop year. We got to go win it, and we got the team to do it.
I'm going to drop it right there. That was fantastic, Tiger. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Tiger Ryden here on The Huddle on TexAgs. We got the team to do it, and they're going to go do it. I hope that is the case. Right now, we're going to hit a break. We'll come back with the fan show, guys. In today's fan show, Nick, I don't know if you know this, all 3 are here. Hunter Shurtleff, you know, his sabbatical where he goes and plays music at all these bars around the country. He is back in College Station to do the show. Right now, Great news for Aggies everywhere. If you ever wanted a one-stop shop for nothing but Aggie-related content, what you need to do is check out the AggieSpirit.com, a website that is designed for the Aggie Network, where the 12th man can scroll anytime, anywhere. The AggieSpirit.com features nothing but Aggie-generated content from social news, good bull, what's going on at A&M with education, research, campus life, to former students doing cool things. You can like, comment by giving it a gig 'em, or share the content to your own personal network using your social media channel of choice by giving it a whoop. On the AggieSpirit.com, you also have the opportunity to share your own Aggie content for the opportunity to be featured in the website. So for 147 plus years, the Aggie Network has existed and would not exist if it weren't for the Aggie Spirit. It's because of friends like you that help fuel that Aggie Spirit across generations through generosity and good bull. It's always been about the Aggie Spirit. Visit the AggieSpirit.com. That is the AggieSpirit.com today to experience the latest Aggie content across social, news, video, and much more through the Association of Former Students. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, on TexAgs Live, the world-famous program brought to you by myself and David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is now time for the show that we love to call the
Fan Show. Everyone's favorite.
You always go high pitch there. I'm more of a bass.
I just change it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome back, Hunter.
All right, good to be back.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's August the 6th.
First day of practice just yesterday.
Yeah,
That's why he's here.
That's slide in at the last minute.
Yeah, that's why he's here. As soon as football shows up, Hunter shows up.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Well, let's get the show kicked off with Carson Stein at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Carson, hardest question of the day, and who gets it?
I'm going to give it to Hunter since he's back for the first time in a while. What's on your mind today?
What is on my mind? So this first week of football kicks off. What do we have? We have the coaches poll.
Yeah.
Now, look, I'm not one to get worked up about preseason polls. But people say they don't matter, and I'm going to say they kind of matter a little bit. They do matter a little bit. They do set this,
hierarchy.
Yes. And information, and the committee's listening to all this. And, just because somebody says, hey, Texas Tech, they're a top 10 team. Well, why? But they just start getting thrown in the rankings there, and and it's fun to watch. I mean, Texas A&M was number 3 for a month and a half last year. So they're fun. We all watch them. But here's my problem, and I'm not upset about this yet. Okay, but this is coming, and whether it's Alabama or it's LSU or Tennessee, an SEC team with a couple of losses, these teams in the rankings, it's top 10, are not the same, right? And I'm going to beat this drum. I'm to look at Tech's schedule, right? They have a one-game season, basically, if that. All right? They don't even play BYU. Here's their road games: at Oregon State, at Colorado, at Cincinnati, at Oak State, and at Baylor. Is that comparable? We're playing 6 ranked teams, like legit ranked teams right now, that you're not even counting.
In the top 12.
Yeah, I guess at Missouri's ranked, but that's not even talking about at South Carolina. That's a venom pit, right?
Yeah. That South Carolina road game would be their hardest.
I'm just saying,
the toughest game on their whole schedule.
It's going to happen. I don't know who in the SEC is going to have the gripe, but we are heading down to that committee gripe because it's coming. If they're not going to compare these schedules and strength of record, it is coming down the pipe. But it's exciting. I mean, it's fun to see the rankings.
Sure.
It's great to be number 8 coming off that year. But there's all, first of all, back to Tech bashing real quick.
Love that.
Their big game is University of Houston, maybe TCU.
Friday night game, right?
That's their big game.
Yeah.
One's Thursday and one's Friday, I think, first of all. Okay, let's back up there. Friday night in West Texas, in Lubbock, and you're going to play a college football game?
Well, they complained about it. They hate that idea.
I know it's TV.
Yeah.
But that's all those West Texas towns that just live for it, and all those 6-man teams out there and everything else. Anyways, that's.
Hey, let me ask you guys this question about Texas Tech, because it has to be only because of the schedule. Take any team in the SEC that you want and take away their starting quarterback in the spring. Would they still be a top 12 team?
I mean, who knows? I mean,
No.
they'd probably still go undefeated.
If we knew today
That
Sam
schedule.
Leavitt wasn't able to go, would LSU be in the top 12? If Mateer went down, if Marcel caught the flu and was going to miss the first month of the season,
There's no way.
right?
Yeah.
It can only be, and I think Will Hammond's going to be a good quarterback. By the way, I do think so because we saw enough of him last year. But you can't say, outside of Ole Miss last year, that went with their backup quarterback who was better than their starting quarterback, that you would be predicted to be a top 10 team or top 12 team on your backup quarterback. That just doesn't happen.
It's a game predicated on quarterback play.
Yeah. I do have a question since this is the fan show. All right, where does Tech fall in your hierarchy of hate? Where do they rank in your hierarchy?
They currently don't register on my hate.
Oh, they still register them.
They're top 5 on mine. Absolutely. I mean, it's Sips at 1. I have a tie at 2. It's the worst scenario is to have a tie, right?
He's got Notre Dame.
Ohio State, Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And then it's probably Tech, and then it's probably LSU. Those are my top 5.
I mean, they're up there, but because we don't play them anymore, they're not on my radar.
I think.
I don't think about you at all.
Well, I think it's still easy to have them top of mind though, because all the Cody Carpenter crap.
Yeah.
And so I think it's still easy, like without playing them, they're easy to hit.
You know, 5 years ago we didn't even like you go back to
5 years ago. I still thought that I was thinking the tortilla throwing was hilarious.
I'll say this: back in the Big 12 days, I thought to myself, I hated them just as much as I hated Texas. I just because they were so obnoxious and so annoying, and they were beating us consistently, especially with Leach.
Yeah.
Those Leach days, they were beating us, and they were just so obnoxious and so annoying and everything else. And so, and they still are. I mean, there's still those same people out there. What do the Longhorns call them? Sand Aggies? I've always thought that's pretty funny, by the way. I know it's a knock on both of us, but I still think it's pretty funny. But, I mean, I try to think even today, I'm like, who do I hate more than them? I mean, Texas, obviously, but, I mean, do I hate LSU more than I hate Tech? I don't think I do. Well, I don't think Oklahoma might be there because they're annoying and obnoxious too. But the enemy of my enemy is my friend, kind of thing. I don't know. There's a kinship there of hatred.
Well, honestly, at the top of the list has to be South Carolina because of the Bonham Trophy.
Oh,
yeah, obviously,
biggest deal,
biggest rivalry in college football.
Do you hate Baylor more than Tech? I don't, because I've got in-laws that are salt of the earth and wonderful people that love Baylor, and I can't hate them. Like I don't like them, but I don't hate them.
Oh, they're way up there for me.
Baylor? Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, would you put Baylor above Tech?
No.
I would, just because it's a personal deal. Yeah.
I'd put them literally right behind Tech.
Yeah. My mother went to Tech. And that's the only thing I don't like about her. Yeah. I mean, I went to a Tech game one time, and I was sitting in the Tech section with some friends that went to Tech, and I stood up because it's one of these games where we're getting beat to death, right? Those Leach days were bad. This wasn't the game where they tore down their goalposts after they beat us 13-0 in a game where they were ranked and we were I think below 500, and they stormed their own field, tear down their own goalposts, and try to jam it up in the stands where the Aggies were sitting. I don't know if y'all remember that game.
2001, I believe.
Yeah. This was not that game. This was a different one. And I stood up and clapped one time for like a first down, and I hear this. And next thing you know, I look over, and I'm telling you, a tortilla hits me. I mean, it couldn't have hit me more perfectly in the face. I mean, and every one of these Tech fans see it, and they all laughed at me for that in that moment. And I just sat down, and I was like, that was embarrassing. But yeah, that's what these people do. Tech throw batteries too, if I remember.
Tech reminds me of that annoying kid that was friends with the bully, and Texas is the bully in this conversation.
It's like the instigator.
Yeah, and the bully leaves, like he transfers to a different school, and now this guy thinks, this is my territory. We run the Big 12. This is ours.
Out.
Like, that's what it feels like. They just think they're this big fish in the Big 12. And by the way,
where are they?
Them.
Where are they in your hatred hierarchy?
I don't even think about them. I don't. I think during the Big 12 days, I hated them.
Yeah.
It was weird to hate them because I kind of liked the Leach.
Yeah.
But I didn't like him.
I hated Leach until he left there, and then now he was one of my favorite coaches ever.
And then he beat us with Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Didn't we wrap up with 3 victories against them, though, 9, 10, 11?
I think we did, yeah. That's true, we did. But yeah, I was just curious to see if
But they're number 1 on the schedule disparity. There's some others. Notre Dame has we don't know how teams are going to work out this right. It's August. But Notre Dame has a 3-game schedule right now, if you looked at it. BYU, Miami, SMU.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everybody else is the bottom of the Big Ten or the bottom of the ACC on their schedule.
The thing about Notre Dame always cracks me up is, their longstanding rivalry with Navy, right? Like they'll always play Navy, and I can't remember the story behind it, but it's a pretty cool story. But that might be a tough game for them this year. Now, I'm not saying they're going to lose by any means, but it's one of those games like when Army went into Norman and took OU, I think, to overtime, right? That's a bad look.
Yeah.
It's a bad look to be close to a service academy. So that'd be an interesting one just to circle on the Notre Dame schedule.
No, but comparing Notre Dame's schedule, which we think just on paper looks pretty easy, it's still a gauntlet compared to Texas Tech's schedule. I mean they've got USC, they've got like you said, they've got Miami on that. I mean those would both be by far their toughest opponent.
Who's that?
Miami or SMU or or USC.
Yeah.
So
they don't play USC. Notre Dame.
I thought they played USC every year.
Well, they did. They canceled it because when the Big Ten went to the 9-game schedule. Anyways,
so USC lost.
It's coming back in 2031 or something.
It is coming back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. It's coming back. All right, Roy, what's on your mind?
Oh man. Well, it's time, right? But the more I thought about it, we talk about we off season, and then we have spring ball, and then we talk about then we go into quote unquote talking season, and then practice starts, and everybody goes, football's here. Not really, not yet. It's here for the football players and for the staff and for the program. But this is still the part where the media has access for 5 to 10 minutes, and that's what we're basing all of our opinions off of, right? So it's still a little bit of talking season. It's just talking season, and we can talk about how big the dudes look. And McGee was referring to this earlier. It's an off season with Tommy Moffitt. These guys come out and they look like monsters, which is great, but we don't know. We still don't know, right? And so I saw a clip yesterday on social media of Arch Manning throwing to one of the receivers, and it was just a quarterback receiver drill, and they wrote like Manning connects with so and so. Connects. It's a passing drill. Yeah. Like he threw a 6-yard out, and they're acting like we're good. Yep, he's on. I've seen that guy throw dirt darts. So it's fun to watch. It's fun to finally see him back on the field, right? It's enjoyable. But to me, after all these years, and where my attention has been, we were talking about this a little bit. I'm not going to let a 17-year-old ruin my day because he didn't choose A&M, right? I'm not. And then you get to the point where I'm not going to let a bunch of 18 to 21-year-olds ruin my day because they lost a football game. It's like you mature as a fan, right? And now I'm at the just give me the football. Like I'll read the practice reports, but I don't take anything away from them. I don't. I mean, it's fun to see him play, and I'm like, because this means we're almost there. But I mean, you got schools across the country putting out videos. The Colorado video, have you seen this, right?
Yeah.
There's a Colorado clip. They all look like they're Pop Warner.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, they look. Yeah.
So you've just seen these clips all from over the country, and really what we're seeing is how good are the social medias for all the different programs. Well, and Colorado has so far failed that test.
That's good advice, because last year our very own fan base melted down because Terry Bussey was slow.
Yeah. I don't think he's slow. I don't think he's slow, guys. But this is true.
From watching a 3-second clip of a drill at practice.
Yeah.
My thing is, this is just part of the process.
Yeah.
It is.
And it gets us closer. I don't read too much into what I see. A, we're only there for 30 minutes, 40 minutes. B, we don't know. We don't know until a Saturday. And we'll know a little bit after Missouri State. We'll know a little bit more after Arizona State. I think we'll really know after LSU.
Well, I think Damian Sanford, because I know you guys were trying to get Aaron Wallace on earlier and you played that clip. That's the kind of insight I like, is to talk about, one, he's just talking obviously about the linebacker room and talk about individuals, and that's what he sees, but he talks about being where your feet are. And right now their job is to be at camp. And camp sucks. And it doesn't always suck the first couple of days, but it sucks by the time you get to the end of it, right? And so there's just hearing the players talk about being in the moment and focusing on camp, and he said something along the lines of, you find out who your teammates are, and it was either him or Stephen McGee. Like, you find out who your real dogs are when you're at the end of camp. When you don't want to be there.
Right.
Like, it's just miserable. You're banged up, you're bruised, you've been through it. Because you spent all off season again running 5-yard outs in t-shirts and shorts and lifting weights. And now you're going to start banging pads and banging on each other, and so it's exciting to see. I get it, it is, but I'm just ready for the season to start.
You and me both. All right, I was about to call you Mr. May. He's Mr. May. You're Mr. Browning.
Hey, I was kind of thinking similar lines. Obviously, practice has started and everything, and I was thinking to myself, this is the slowest time of the year, though. This is when it feels like it drags by. This is like when you're getting closer to Christmas and it's starting to, you're like, man, Christmas is a month away, and then you're like, that month just drags on and drags on. So when you, from a football perspective, you're like, man, we're what, 35 days, 30 days away? 30 days away from today, and you're like, dang, it still feels like forever.
I still got to wait another 30 days.
Yeah, I mean, these next 30 days will feel, from a football perspective, feel really slow and really drag on, but it is exciting that they're out there moving, and like you said, I don't take too much from it. I mean, once we get on the field, we'll see what this team looks like, and I mean, again, like it just like this team is one of those that, all right, what we really need to see is how are they going to play in November. I think you said that earlier to Aaron Torres, talk about, how are we, you can't turn the ball over in November. So I think that's kind of, that's how far we are from really knowing,
I think we'll know a lot though, early in the month.
Yeah.
But like, again, after starting off the season 11-0, and just to feel like, gosh, we left something out there on the field.
Yeah,
right?
We sure did.
And that I don't know if this season's going to start off 11-0. I don't know if it's going to start off great. We don't know any of those answers. I do believe that the process that they take to get there is the right one. I hate that they have 5 SEC road games to their 4 SEC home games. I hate that.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting scenario. So we go 11-0 and lose the last 2, right? How would you feel if we lost the first 2 and then ran the table?
Oh, I'd rather
Missouri State?
Yep.
Hey,
Oh,
I'd rather that than what we did last year. We lost the 2 most important games of the year. One game gets us in the SEC championship game. The other one is the playoff game. We
you
lost
lose to Missouri State and you lose to Kentucky, and then you run the table. You're in Atlanta.
Oh my gosh, that would be a bitter pill, but
I'd take it.
I would just take
we
it.
run the table to a national championship.
I can already tell the football audience is starting to watch the show again, and like the mean people are back.
A lot more comments.
Yeah, a lot more comment, and the ones that they're not nice. Hey, you don't enunciate the letter H. Okay.
No, wait. But in your scenario,
I'm working on that.
Hey, but in your scenario, we run the table, meaning that we win the rest of our games period, so we make it to the playoffs because we win the SEC championship game.
And under that ridiculous scenario,
we win the national championship.
And think of who you would be beating.
Yeah.
LSU on the road, Missouri on the road,
Alabama on the road,
Oklahoma on the road,
Texas at home.
Yep.
Then you win the SEC championship game, and then you win all of your playoff games. Yeah, I'd take that in a heartbeat.
Afterwards, I'd take it. I wouldn't take it in September. Okay, in September, I'm just like.
But if you guaranteed it right
because
now,
then
I'd
for
do
the
it.
next 5 years, we're having App State still comes up.
How about this?
Right.
So
But we won a
hold
national
on.
championship.
No. So here's the
and
scenario.
afterwards, yes, I'm talking about how I would feel in September.
But no, if he's giving you this option right now,
Here's your scenario.
Guaranteed.
You win the conference title game, and you win your first playoff game, and then you're out.
Oh.
So you reverse. You win your last 2 games.
Give me double-digit wins and a playoff win. I don't care how they come.
I'm here.
I would prefer to be Texas.
That the entire planet will burn down if we lose week 1.
Yeah. When it comes to financial advice, independence, Paragon Financial Advisors is an Aggie-owned and operated independent fee-only fiduciary firm. That means that the recommendations are not influenced by commissions, proprietary products, or sales quotas. So whether you're managing family, wealth, or growing a successful business, their team helps clients make informed decisions with comprehensive planning and disciplined investment management. And for many business owners, that means developing strategies not only to grow that business, but also prepare for one of the biggest financial events of their life, the eventual sale of that business. Visit paragon-adv.com to get more information on how their independent advice can help you prepare for what is next. Paragon Financial Advisors, Aggie-owned and operated, independent, serving clients nationwide. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. The Fan Show. Dr. Chad Nelson listening. He loves the harmony at the beginning of the Fan Show.
Dr. Chad, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, and I'm sorry I didn't know. Happy birthday, buddy.
Yeah, well, tomorrow, but yes, I will be at the ripe old age of 47.
Happy early birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Happy birthday, pal.
Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Carson Stein, always with a hard-hitting question to start off a segment. What do you have?
So I have a question that Matthew in the back wrote. What team on A&M's schedule will be way worse by the time that they play A&M relative to the season start?
Can we pull up the schedule?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. I'm gonna go out on a limb here.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna go out on a real limb here, and I'm gonna say Alabama. I just don't. I mean, I think that they're so downtrodden, and they're so like they just don't believe in their coaching staff. They don't believe in DeBoer. I mean, it's tough. I mean, that would be the hardest job in the world to take over.
Could you imagine, though, for a second, guys, if A&M had Alabama's season last year? Just for a moment. They get slaughtered by Indiana in the second round of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But they win a playoff game.
Yeah.
On the road, by the way. They go to the SEC championship game where they get beat down as well. But I'm just like, it's all a matter of what your history has been. And for them, it's not good enough. For A&M, what a stepping stone, right? Even last year, they didn't win a playoff game. It was a great year.
Yeah, I mean, because let's be honest. They're the standard, or they were the standard of what every single college football team wants to be. They are the standard. That Saban era is every one of us would love. That's what we're all striving for. To have a deal where you for over a 20-year period you win 6 national championships or 7, however many you won, some crazy number. I mean, and to always be in contention. I mean, it would be insane. It'd be so fun to have that. But I just don't think that Bama is the Bama of old. I think that Bama still has the shine that they're Bama, and I just don't think Kalen DeBoer is that good. So that's mine.
I do like Kalen DeBoer. I'm waiting to see on Bama. Looking at that schedule, if I had to pick somebody late in the year, I'm going to go Tennessee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tennessee's a good one.
It's probably a better choice than mine. I just wanted to throw some.
But Tennessee is not getting a lot of love. Like, they're not getting top 12 love. I think they're getting what are they, Nick? Top 16 love? Is that what they get in the coaches' poll? I believe they're somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I'd love to say Texas, really.
11. Oh, okay. So they are getting that kind of love.
I love when Texas is overrated to begin the season. Every time they always fail to hit expectations. I mean, so do we, but they always fail to hit expectations. So I'm hoping they're out of the rankings by the time we get to them.
Roy, give me your answer.
I'm going to go OU, and it's because I just looked at their schedule. And so they play first 4 weeks. They got UTEP on the road at Michigan, New Mexico, and then they got to play on the road at Georgia. Then they get their traditional bye week before the Red River Shootout, right? But you're talking about playing the Sips, Kentucky at home, Mississippi State on the road, South Carolina, again, always tricky. They got to go to the Swamp. They get Ole Miss at home, and then us. So their bye week is early. So I think the combination of that, and I agree that I'm not completely sold on Mateer. So I think the combination of those two things and just them having to just grind through a schedule to get to us, I think maybe it's not even that they're not as good as we thought. Their record just will not be as good, and they'll be banged up by the time they get to us. So
let me give you guys something to think about, and this doesn't answer that question, but I don't think LSU is going to be that team because A&M plays them so early in the season. But what if A&M again plays destroy your season to LSU? Because that's what happened last year, right? They lost back-to-back games. They lost to Vandy, then they lost to Texas A&M, and obviously they fired Brian Kelly. They're not going to do that with Lane Kiffin, but they play Ole Miss before they play A&M, right? So if they were to lose 2 straight, what does that do for LSU? And they still, if you can put up LSU's schedule, have a daunting rest of the schedule after the A&M game. So they're going to take on 2 top 10 teams early and then still have to play a bunch of teams that we'll see here in a second.
Well, I think they're going to give, they can't fire Lane Kiffin, obviously, because the Children's Hospital only has so much money.
Right.
But to me, I think Kiffin's going to get a lot of grace, and I think an early loss, and look, you can say Lane Kiffin's a jackass. He is on social media, but again, he's a good coach.
He's a really good coach.
He's a really good coach. And I don't think an early loss kills their season, because this is one of those getting used to the new system, the new coach. You know, a lot of times you see them get a lot better later into the season, right? They play their ways into, or they play their way into the coach's system. So I don't think an early loss, you're going to see a lot of arms thrown up in the air, especially if they were to lose to us.
Even if they lose 2 straight, and then they still have Alabama, Texas, and Tennessee.
I still trust Kiffin to right the ship.
Yeah,
I do. Maybe not make Atlanta, but
well, if they lose those first early games to Ole Miss and A&M, their chances of making the playoffs in year 1, which I think that's why they brought them in.
They'd have to run the table.
And I don't think they're running the table in this scenario.
No, I don't either. Not with that schedule.
No.
But I also think we're all putting so much emotional stock into this Ole Miss LSU matchup. And I feel like it's going to be a letdown. I think LSU is going to win by like 2 scores.
You think so?
I do. We're all going to be like, oh boy, here it comes.
Because a real rough
revenge game.
Yeah. So what do you guys think is the biggest swing factor for A&M this year? Pick a person, a position, and I don't want to say question mark, right? I think we all know the question marks that this team has. A swing factor. If you could say, oh my goodness, we get a career season out of this position group, this player, what makes the biggest difference for Texas A&M this year? Why don't you start us off, Matt?
Well, I mean, you know what I'm going to say? I said it last week. Quarterback. It's all about quarterback.
So if you get a 32-6 interception Marcel Reed, that's the difference between, you think that's the biggest difference?
I do. Because again, like I said, I mean, like we said, last year, Marcel played really, really well for the majority of the season. Those last 2 games, he did not play well. And he's the first to admit it. So I'm not knocking the young man. I mean, he's the first to admit it. He said it many times. He did not play well. If he plays well, especially against Miami, we win that game, right? We win that game and we move on. We get our first playoff victory. We move on. The defense gave up 10 points. Your defense gives up 10 points, you should win that football game.
At home,
especially, right? So if he plays better at the end of the season, he was turning the ball over, bad throws against Texas Texas, that was a 10-point game. It was a 27-17. Wasn't that the final there? So 10-point game there, 7-point game. I think that if he plays better, I mean, if he plays the way he did at the second half of South Carolina or against LSU or some of the good games that he played, we go much further than what we did.
Let me jump in there because I don't disagree. Did you guys hear my little rant on it's not all on Marcel this week?
Agreed.
No, about that in particular. At the end of the year, A&M did I think a poor job running the ball. And when they can't run the ball, and they did a poor job protecting Marcel. He got sacked a bunch, right?
Yeah.
He is not Tom Brady who can sit in the pocket just like darts, right? His game is predicated on some movement and also some rhythm. He was taken off his rhythm. Why was he taken off his rhythm? He was sped up. His clock was sped up because I think the O-line struggled against those elite defense lines.
Those were 2 really good defenses.
So and they could not run the ball. So, yes, Marcel has to be better. But I think it all goes, if Reuben Owens has the kind of year he talked about having, I think it makes Marcel that much better of a quarterback. Yes, he can. He's got to be better on that last throw, no doubt.
So just to throw in that caveat, those were by far the 2 best defenses we played last year. In Texas and Miami, I think most people would agree. So but still.
Well, and he struggled in the first half of the South Carolina game.
You still got to win that, but I mean, you still have to play better. Even I get it. Sometimes things are going to break down. Sometimes they're going to get you out of your rhythm. You got to figure out how to still get it done. I mean, that's my thought. I think if we play well at the quarterback position, then the sky's the limit. I mean, this team is. If we play good at the quarterback position, this team has talent enough to win national championships.
I agree with that. I'm going to go with defensive line. If Elko can find his guys to kind of be a force in there I'd love Hicks. Right, and if you have this pass rush by committee with some of the new guys and Jones, and they can establish their dominance on the defensive line, then you don't have to play hero ball maybe, and, win some tough games, some close games. That's where I'm looking to kind of see us improve.
I'll go on the other side of the line. I'll go offensive line because we just talked about Marcel was getting sacked and we couldn't run the ball. Both of those, you can change both of those if the offensive line is the key swing.
Right.
So the passing game is better with a good running game. The running game is better with a good passing game. You allow Marcel to process and move the pocket as he pleases, as opposed to being forced to move the pocket. So for me, it's gonna be, and it's not because we talked about the offensive line being a question mark. To me, a good offensive line establishes everything. It's because it can help negate a great pass rush, right? Those run blockers and those gap stuffers that we see all through the SEC. Everybody's got them. 390,000 pounds, right? You can still run a 4.9. But I think the offensive line, if they can gel quickly and play just nasty kind of football, that I think that alleviates a lot of the pressure. I loved hearing what Tiger Ryden said, has the whole room takes pride in pass blocking.
Yeah.
I love that because you still have to have pass blocking for your backs. But for me, the swing spot is the offensive line because that frees up both passing and running.
All right, let's hit a break. We'll come back with the final segment here on TexAgs Live, the fan show. We'll be back in a few. Final segment of the fan show. Let's go back to Carson Stein. Let's see. He's had actually 2 good questions today. Let's see if he can continue it.
David's just shocked about that.
Yeah. I was like, we'll see.
Well, all these questions come from Matthew Coughlin in the back, so I'll give a shout out to Matthew. What is the biggest question you want to see answered in fall camp?
Okay, these questions were good until they felt like the same question every segment.
A little bit.
I'm going to go running back room.
Really? Question?
Yeah, just a question like who's going to emerge and who's going to be our kind of go. I think you need a go-to. I know we're going to have a minor committee there on that, but I'd like to see somebody like take the lead and like this is our guy.
Huh, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I think to myself, like, honestly, receiver and running back are 2 of the most solidified. Like, I don't worry about them at all, kind of things. I mean, I think obviously like what Roy said earlier, I mean, it's O-line. I think O-line's obviously our biggest question mark, and 4 new starters on the O-line. And
Is your question, I'm sorry to cut you off, is your question if they're going to be good, or is it the chemistry?
The chemistry. I mean, I think they're all talented. I mean, there's a ton of giant human beings that are athletic that should be good at this. And so it's just chemistry. I mean, O-lines have to gel. I mean, and you see some of the best O-lines ever. They've been together for years now. I mean, if you think about that, our last really good O-line was 2020. I mean, they were phenomenal, but they'd been together for, I mean, 4 of those guys had been together for, I don't know, 3 years by that point. So, I mean, that's mine.
Okay. Roy?
So I don't think a lot of questions get answered after camp other than us getting maybe a depth chart, right? And I wouldn't release a depth chart as a head coach after spring camp. I wouldn't. Like
bunch of ors.
Yeah.
So-and-so or.
Or, yeah, a bunch of ors. It's not a question so much as a wish, maybe. Just get out of camp healthy.
Yeah.
That's a big thing for me. And season after season, as we stack seasons with Tommy Moffitt, I feel better about that. Obviously just seeing his, and we all knew he was a badass, right? We knew that, but to see it, and these guys are coming out, they're strong, they're big, some of the stuff they're doing in the offseason in the weight room, but they're also staying healthy, for the most part. I know we've had our issues here and there with injury, but, just getting out of camp healthy.
I've got one that for the receiver, the receiver room. We know our top 4 guys. We know our 4, from Craver to Bussey, right? We know that those 4 guys are going to be really good, but there's so much talent behind them. Like, who's going to be, like, who'd you say was, like they said,
Aaron Gregory.
Aaron Gregory is going to be absolutely, he's going to make some plays. I'm looking forward to seeing who emerges from that room and it just comes out to be an absolute star.
Earn snaps against those top 4, basically.
Yeah.
I need to see more information before I decide what I think about the tight end room. I think it's going to look different, obviously, with new guys in there. Could there be another Nate Borkature? Not predicting a second-round pick or an amazing catch to end the Notre Dame game, but is there a guy that's going to, is Richie Anderson going to be that guy that can block, can catch big passes? Does Michael Riley take a huge step this year, not only a captain, but now that he's healthy, does he kind of show that he can catch and pass? Or catch and block. What about Houston Thomas, who I think athletically he's going to bring a lot to that room. I think tight end's a position group that we probably don't spend a lot of time on that I think could be a huge wrinkle for Marcel. I think it really could help him.
Yeah, and we talked about that last week a little bit, just, with Marcel moving the pocket, having a dynamic tight end that can be a safety valve.
And he looks for him, right? He hits the tight end, so.
Tight end plays a big role. At least has played a big role in our offense in the last few years, and so I mean, from the Swede, Berkshire to those guys have been
the faster the offense, the bigger piece that a tight end is.
Let me ask you guys this question: We
didn't think Sternberger was going to be that good when he came in, and he turned out to be almost elite. So
I did this show with you guys in 21, right after the 2020 season. Is your optimism level better today than it was in 21 today? Because I feel like when I started this show in 21, I thought, oh, we're like a year from a national championship. This is it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we're there. Right. I'm not saying we're not there either. Like, I feel really good about the direction. But I think I overinflated where we actually were at that point. And it goes back to the offensive line. There was a lot of questions on that O-line. There was questions at quarterback. You don't have real questions at quarterback. You know your guy. You know where his limitations are. But I think I overshot for that area. I think I'm pretty realistic about this year's team.
I think the schedule is what does it for me. Looking at that schedule, I'm like, that's an incredibly hard schedule. I mean, we could be the 2019 LSU Tigers and possibly we'll lose a game on this schedule, right? I mean, that schedule's tough. Yeah. And everybody, and it's not just us, everybody in the SEC has that same schedule. But optimism-wise, I think, I was way more optimistic going into 21 than I am today.
I think so also. But it's good to hear Elko talk about, hey, and right, we have this history of coming off a good year, and now we're ranked high, and we step on it. Mm-hmm. So, it's good to hear Elko say, we haven't done anything.
Trophy case is empty.
Yep. We got to drop it there. Tomorrow on the show, Billy Lucci, TexAgs Live. Thanks so much. We'll see you then.